Bet Online continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC. Head to Bet Online today and don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right. Shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. What's popping? Big ups to you guys. Appreciate y'all being in the live. Much love. Much love. Much love. Big ups to you guys. Appreciate y'all on this Monday stream. I see y'all. Hey, man, I know, man. We're going to listen to it. I didn't hear it all, man. I heard a few pieces here or there, but I wanted to kind of not listen to it so we can have a better react to what was going on here. This is always a very interesting and fun time for the Who Dat Nation, because around this time is when we have I don't know if I won't call them legendary, but these are some of these are some of the weirdest things that we see from the Saints organization, man, which is fastly getting a reputation as a complete and utter joke of a franchise, just like the New Orleans Pelicans, ran by with people that have absolutely no idea what's going on. They have accountability zero here. Zero. No leadership, no nothing. So big ups to you guys. Appreciate you. We're going to react live. I'll give my thoughts on with whatever Mickey Loomis is talking about. And I'd like to give a big shout out to all of the family members. Y'all know I'm very big on that. Big ups to everybody. Good to see you, Mr. Rose, Bronze, Flat Power God, T Dirty. I see you, fam. Shout out to my dog, T Dirty. All right, Ro, what's popping, my brother? OG Jerry. Big ups to you as well. Be great, Josh. Much love, fam. Appreciate you. Young City 9, I see you, man. Appreciate you. Desi, what's popping? Shout out to the Queens, man. Desi, Black Major, what's happening, man? Head Trauma, what's up, brother? How you doing? All right, big ups to everybody, man. Good to see y'all here. Dr. Gray, I see you. I see you, Dr. Gray. All right, big ups to everybody. What's up there, Kai? Shout out to Kai the Great, man. Big ups to you as well. Much love. The Future. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you. Sean, I see ain't nobody give a damn about what Mickey Loomis has to say at this point, unless he says he's resigning this position, which obviously won't happen. Let's clap that one up. Clap it up. Clap that shit up. Always good to get the show going with a good clap. All right, what's up, JT? Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you as well. Yeah, much love. Quavadius, shout out to you, man. Dadu, big ups to you, man. Giovanni, much love. What's up, Doc54 says, Sub Q McCarthy will be head coach by Friday afternoon. Mickey has no answers and needs to hand it off to a proven commodity. Hey, man, y'all talking true talk. Brother Wallace, big ups to you. Bishop, good to see you, sir. Much love to brother Bishop. Ty, what's popping, my friend? Much love to you as well. OG to the third degree. What's popping, fam? Appreciate all y'all, man, for being in the stream, man. Much love to the family. If I didn't give you a who dat, give me a who dat. And if I see the comment, I give you a who dat back, baby. All right, so before we get the Mickey Madness going, right, the Mickey Madness, let's kind of talk about some of the stuff going on with the Saints, the more important news dealing with these Saints coaching searches, right? What's going on? What's the latest here? And this, shout out to Bob on this article, but this is one of the things they talk about. Ian Rappaport said members of the Cowboys coach McCarthy's staff have now been informed that the two sides are separating and his contract will expire. McCarthy is free to speak with other teams. Saints and Bears are at the top of the list. This is Ian Rappaport. He's letting it know that the Saints and Bears are at the top of the list there. So I don't know how to feel about that, but it's just what it is, right? Albert Breer, who's also credible in his own right, says the Saints' next set of scheduled interviews comes this Friday, Saturday, and they'll sit down with Commanders offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury and Eagles OC Kellen Moore, along with Bills OC Joe Brady. Of course, they could bring in now ex-Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy before then, too. So we'll see exactly how it all works and how it goes. And man, it's just one of those things, man, that we just have to see. What's up, Deagle? Shout out to you, man. Uncle Deuce, shout out to Uncle Deuce as well. Yeah, man, this is a few things. And let's bounce to this article right here. Shout out to Bob Rose, Saints News Network, Kyle T. Mosley, Brother Hendricks, and the rest of the fam over there. Coaching news. Why would the Saints, why the New Orleans Saints, I said, why? King Chosen, what's up, fam? What's up, Brother Joe? How you doing, sir? Why the New Orleans Saints could pursue Mike McCarthy? I was like, in my mind was like, why in the hell would they pursue? Man, listen, man, when you went to the bottom of the barrel, and the possum was exactly the bottom of the barrel, man. Boy, if you've been eating out the dumpster, boy, any food tastes good at this point, right? I'm just saying. At the end of the day, another familiar face could become a coaching target for the Saints. Why? Because New Orleans Saints coaching search continues. New Orleans has already interviewed or requested interviews with Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver, Bulls offensive coordinator Joe Brady, Washington offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury, Giants offensive coordinator Mike Kafka, Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, and ex-Titans coach Mike Vrabel. Vrabel's off the list, and their own interim coach Darren Rizzi. Now, other teams looking for a head coach are the Bears, Raiders, Jags, Jets. Patriots have filled their vacancy with Vrabel. So there you go. All right, along with other names, offensive lines along with the above names, Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores, Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy are getting interest around the league. Another strong candidate looks like he's now completely available to be interviewed, Mike McCarthy. So we'll look at that, man. McCarthy, who's 61 years of age, has been the head coach of the Cowboys since 2020, has a 49-35 record over the 5 years, a winning percentage over 58% with 3 playoff appearances. However, it now appears that McCarthy will be a coaching free agent. McCarthy contract with the Cowboys officially ended Tuesday, January the 14th. Despite efforts on both sides to reach a deal, Tom Pelissero of NFL Network will among the first to report Monday that McCarthy will not return as the Dallas coach. This now puts the Cowboys on a list of teams looking for a new coach. It also puts a highly accomplished coach on the market for several teams to pursue. Now, what is McCarthy's background? Born and raised in Pitt, McCarthy attended Salem College and Baker University in Kansas. He became a graduate assistant with the Pitt Panthers in '89. He became the Panthers wide receiver coach in 1992. Following the year, McCarthy was hired as the quality control coach for the Chiefs. He'd be with the Chiefs until '98, raising to the role of the QB coach for the last 4 years with them. And then in '99, the Packers hired McCarthy to be their quarterbacks coach. After just 1 year with the Pack, the Saints brought McCarthy in as their offensive coordinator. He'd be with the Saints until '04. Overseeing one of the NFL's most explosive offenses, McCarthy left New Orleans to become the offensive coordinator for the Niners in '05. And in '06, McCarthy got his first head coaching job. He was hired by the Packers, where he remained from '06 to 2018. In 13 years with the Packers, McCarthy accomplished 125 wins against 77 losses and 2 ties. That's a winning percentage of over 61%, almost 62%. McCarthy's Packers won the Super Bowl, and after the 2010-11 campaign, Green Bay teams had 9 seasons with a winning record and advanced to the playoffs 9 times. In 18 years as a head coach with the Packers and Cowboys, McCarthy's teams have had almost a 61% record with 12 winning seasons and 12 postseason trips. McCarthy to the Saints. As noted above, McCarthy served as offense coordinator with the Saints back in 2000 to 2004. For those 5 years, the Saints had a 42-38 record under McCarthy and head coach Jim Haslett, while winning the first playoff game in franchise history during the 10-6 2000 season. McCarthy helped develop explosive weapons like Aaron Brooks, Joe Horn, Deuce McAllister, among others. His offense had a top 10 ranking in total yardage 3 times, while always finishing in the top half of the league in both rushing and pass production. Haslett was fired in '05 when McCarthy was with the 49ers. McCarthy was interviewed for the New Orleans opening and was reportedly the Saints' top choice for the job. Ultimately, McCarthy accepted the job with the Packers. Saints went on to hire another highly successful coach in Sean Payton. Remember that New Orleans general manager in '06 was also Slick Mickey Loomis. It remains to be seen whether the Saints will pursue Mike McCarthy. However, expect New Orleans to be among several teams to interview McCarthy as one of the NFL's most respected offensive minds. That's a young Mike McCarthy right there, boy. But yeah, this is a part of it, man. One of the latest moves that the Saints have now, with Mike McCarthy jumping out into that opening, right? And it's very interesting because, you know, we look at the coaching search and you look at a few people, there's still some people that I would want the Saints to take a look at, but I have zero faith that Mickey Loomis would do that. I heard that if you see Mike McCarthy out there, I'm hearing Pete Carroll's interested in coaching again. That could be somebody you want to talk to. Anytime you have an accomplished coach like that on the free agent hire for coaches, go to have a conversation with him, even if it's virtual. Just go speak to that guy. Pete Carroll wants to coach again. Vrabel was a favorite. He's gone. We know, like Coach Glenn, he's another guy. So I'm not mad at them going to speak to McCarthy or just kind of fill him out, but have a real legitimate head coach search, as opposed to just showing this for the people. And behind the scenes, I have guys that I'm going to already. I'm just doing this for them. I already knew who I'm going to get, like they did 3.5 years ago with Coach Possum, when they had him hitting behind the scenes, interviewing all these other coaches with grander resumes, and then circle back around to the final days and then interview Eric Bieniemy for 8 hours, and then turn around and offer him the head coach, the offensive coordinator job, and then turn around and hire Dennis Allen. You know, who has faith in a guy whose judgment is that bad to hire a bum ass coach like that, who doesn't even believe he failed? I don't look at it as I failed. I look at it as Jay didn't want me, but somebody else would. And this guy said this with a straight face. With a straight face. I don't look at it as me failing. It's not about me. See, I didn't get fired because I failed. You see, they just didn't want me anymore. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. I look at it like that.
What?
I know.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
That's what I'm saying. You know, 3.5 years, sub 500 record, 7-game losing streak. Hey, I didn't fail. I just look at it as, hell, they didn't even want me. Now, who in their right mind, who believes the judgment of a guy like that? What's wrong with you hiring a guy like that? What's wrong with you? But that's why people, and you should see the comments on this video, man, this presser of what's going on. This New Orleans Saints are a literal joke. And I would caution a lot of people. I know you love the Saints just as much as I do. But at the same time, I will caution all of the diehards out there, man, to be quick, be kind of slow to pump brakes on a lot of this stuff to see what these people doing, because I have zero faith. Gail Benson had an opportunity, a supreme opportunity to do something grand. She could have brought in an advisor, just one person with a resume, an impeccable resume throughout the NFL, bringing an advisor just to look around and do evaluations on the team to figure out what they see that they need to do to improve the team. She did nothing. She had a supreme opportunity to put her stamp on this team, and would she do nothing? She turned it over to the guy that literally and figuratively have destroyed the team, who don't see that he did anything wrong. He didn't make any efforts or mistakes hiring Dennis Allen. He didn't have any issues tearing up the Saints salary cap, putting them in $60 million in the red, had no issues or problems with it. He don't feel that he failed. So is it any wonder why the dumb possum of a human that he hired thinks the same way? These people don't know what they're doing, man. And it is obviously clear that they need to be replaced. The same on the Pelican side. Show after show on Pelican Post-Game Report, that's our Pelican stream, that we talk about the failures of the same organization that's running the team in the ground the same way they're doing the Saints. No vision, slow to the party, over relying on people that are past their primes when they need to have more of a situation set up where it's a committee approach, where you don't have one guy running it. Obviously, you don't really have a president because the guy don't know nothing about football except how to get a guy to be a sponsor. Oh my goodness. This is some tough times here, man. But this hire is very important, because whoever they hire, the guy is going to be tasked with turning all of this foolishness around. So whoever it is, they got to be serious. There can't be no Darren Rizzi. There can't be no Rizzi guy. Let's just eliminate him off the bat. Because all he's going to do is come in here and be a passionate Dennis Allen. He's not going to hold anybody accountable. He's going to sit up here and lie about bad film and all this. We don't need clowns like that. We don't need raspy placators. We don't need garbage like that. We need people that's going to tell it like it is and hold these people accountable, because they're getting checks and they need to represent the right way. That's what I'm on. The hell with all this other stuff about being cool with them. I don't want to be cool with no damn loser. You taking money. We're not paying you to lose. You're supposed to be going all out. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see it in this other crap. But whoever they taking on, whoever they're going to hire, it has to be a person that's serious about football, that has a very high degree of accountability, because they ain't gonna get no help from no Mickey Loomis. Let's just keep that real. He gonna disappear into this office. He don't do no evaluations. It's just a big flip-flopping joke is what it is, man. But anyway, let's get to it, man. Let's get into it, because the bottom line is, like, we do these every year at the end of the year. Last year was the worst. At least he's not chewing gum this year and his face ain't flush. Look like he had a couple of little clam chowders and everything. He looks better and more composed this time than he did before. But let's take a good gander and listen to whatever Mickey Loomis is talking about. Big ups to y'all, man. What's up, Gundam? Big ups to you, sir. Big Sean, shout out to you, fam. I see you, man. Appreciate you being in there, brother. Jack KT, I see you, fam. Mr. Savage, shout out to you. Kathleen, what's up, baby? Appreciate Kathleen being in here as well. Much love to the ladies, man. All right. Shout out to KT saying, cool, I'll be sending you emails about the draft prospects for you to check out. All right. Thank you, KT. Appreciate it.
I want to say thank you very much for picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Now, people was asking, say, Q, why you changed the music, bro? It used to be Jay-Z thanking people. Say, just to be careful, bro. Just being cautious, brother. Just being a little cautious, because you never can tell, baby, can you? All right, anyway, let's get into it, man. Let's listen to what old Slick Mickey got to say. Y'all put one in the chat if you can hear the slick.
Look, we're in the middle of this coaching search that's been consuming all of our time for the last week and a half or so. And I don't have a lot of comments on it. I'm not going to talk about any individual candidates. We're early in that process. We've had a few Zoom interviews, and we'll have a few more, but with that, if you guys have, so one of the things that's a result of that is that we haven't spent a lot of time reflecting upon the last season. We haven't gone through our player evaluations yet. So I know you're going to have a lot of questions, some of which I can't really answer.
How's that process work? Like, who's all involved in it?
Let me stop right here, man. Then why the hell are you up here, man? This guy he's never ready. The guy's never ready. Dude, what have you been doing? I mean, bro, see what I'm saying? This guy ain't done shit all year. Why the evaluate straight out the gate? I got a pause going on. Straight out the gate. Well, I ain't got nothing to evaluate. Why not? Why not? Why don't you not? You know what, bro? I got your whole damn team evaluated. I got them all evaluated, brother. I've been doing this all year long. What have you been doing? That's why this dude don't need to be the general manager. He don't have a pulse, no evaluations done. He don't do in-season evaluations. He don't know what's going. He don't know the temperature of his team. He don't know who needs to be there and who don't need to be there. He don't know why are you up here and don't know nothing about what's going on. And we a week past the season over with, and the season been over with when we was 2 weeks with the season left. The season was over with. What are you talking about? The guy is a loser. You know, it's ridiculous, man. He should have these evaluations done. Dude, I got all the damn evaluations, and I don't need no book to tell you each one of them players that need to be up out of here. We know about the we know more about this dude team than he doing. He getting paid to sit up there, man. That's why this guy don't need to be a general manager. What kind of general manager you are with the end of the season presser and no information on who player evaluation, coaching evaluations, and none of that. Nothing. Don't even care. Just crazy. And people set up there and let this happen. That's why, and we wondering why the team is underperforming. The dude don't know who he got and who deserves to be fired and who deserves to be kept. He's an idiot.
And, you know, kind of how
straight out the gate. I ain't doing no evaluation.
Yeah, we've got look, we've got most of our football people in it. Michael Parrington, Jeff, myself, Kai.
Does any of them dudes do any
Ziegler and Randy are also involved. You know, they're former general managers. They have a lot of experience in our league, and so it's
any of them other guys do evaluations on players and personnel? Do anybody else do any evaluations on the team? You got all these. You got several used to be as general managers that's on the staff. Does anybody else do any evaluations of talent? Who's doing anything? You got all these people, and nobody got enough
of people that are going through, you know, the details and the process with me.
We've never been able to ask you.
The man don't know nothing, man.
After camp, like, how did Dave and Randy just fit into like the overall global picture? Like, what are their roles kind of within the team? Like,
yeah, look, they're talented, experienced.
How you know?
People, you know, Dave was with New England for a good period of time, and then with the Raiders for a shorter period of time. He's got a lot of experience, comes from a different, you know, line, I guess is the right way to describe it than the rest of us. Randy, you know, you guys know that I've known him for a long time. He's had experience, and they're doing all kinds of things for us, and I really value their viewpoint.
Talk about, maybe this is the first time I think fans have heard from you, we've heard from you in a while, just kind of maybe the state of the organization, firing Dennis, looking for a new coach. Is it a rebuild? Is it a restructure? Just kind of where you all are as an organization right now.
Yeah, I think, look, that's part of what, you know, part of what we haven't done yet is really look back and evaluate where we're at from a personnel standpoint. Obviously, this was a tough season, not what we expected. You know, what jumps out is the amount of injuries, and we've got to do a deep dive into that.
Oh, there you go. How far along? We ain't even 3 minutes into the interview, and this dude already spitting out excuses of injuries. Here we go. Here we go. We ain't even 3 minutes. It's 2 minutes and 37 seconds right now into the interview. We ain't even 3 minutes in. And here we go with the excuses. Well, hold on now. It's injuries, Q. Of course it's injuries. Oh, that's all. Hold on now. Hold on now. Injuries right off the bat. He do know that. He don't know nothing else. He don't have any evaluations. He got all them people he hired. Nobody got any paperwork, no information on who needs to go and what's going on with these players. But he know one thing. Hold on now. I got injuries for your ass, buddy. Hold on now. Hold on. Let me tell you something. We got injuries for you right off the bat, fam. Let me tell you. Hold on. We can't. I know guys don't want to hear it, but hey, injuries. This guy's an idiot, man. You know that you're never supposed to use that, man, because it's not exclusive to your team. Everybody deals with them. It's how you deal with them and move around them, and the obstacle that they represent is how you determine who will be successful. It's one of the biggest encumbrance to any team to deal with issues of injuries, but everybody gets them, and you have to still win regardless if you have them or not. You have to win. That's what kind of business this is. This dude knows this as much as anybody else knows it. They know you're not supposed to use this. They open up the season saying that we can't use injuries as an excuse. The players tell you that all year long. Why is this fool up here talking about injuries right out the gate? Ain't even 3 minutes into the damn thing.
You know, are there things that are preventable? Are there things that we missed in the evaluation process, for example?
What evaluation process would that be, Mickey? You don't do any evaluations. You don't know shit.
All that is work that needs to be done. I'm not a big, I think that you can, rebuild it means different things to different people. I think that you can turn around a season pretty quickly in the NFL. We've seen it with other teams, and
prove it.
There's a lot of good things on our roster, and there's some things that we need to adjust and fill in. Part of that is going to be the viewpoint and the vision that the new head coach has. So there's a lot of questions there I can't answer.
Do you feel like more change is needed than you even felt, though, 12 months ago? You kind of had a pretty defiant air last year that things weren't that bad. But
you was chewing that damn gum, talking crazy.
After 5 and 12
seasons, look, I'm positive. I'm glass half full at all times. I see a lot.
No, you're not. Yeah, well, yeah. You positive, and you would be berating the reporters, telling them, that's just lazy and unsophisticated. Well, what part of positive is that, Mickey? Huh? What part of all that is? Why would I listen to them? They're not football people. You're unqualified. What part of the game? What part of positive half glass half full or half ass full? That's what you mean. Oh, you're not qualified. What part of that is that?
A lot of things, even in a 5 and 12 season, I see a lot of things that were positive that we can build on. And so I'm on the side of, man, this thing can go the other direction pretty quickly.
How you gonna do it?
When you say some of that will have to do with the head coach, obviously when you're interviewing these candidates, if one candidate was like, I would kind of prefer to catch up on the salary cap for a year and maybe draft some players and build a nucleus, and another one was like, I'd like to try to win 10 games this year with Derek Carr. Yeah. You're open to both ideas at this point, or that may influence which coach you like.
No, I think that one of the things that's really important is to be able to have a collective vision and be on the same page organizationally. Ownership, GM, coach, coaches, personnel department. We have to have the same collective vision.
You got to write the vision. You're all broken the hell up. And this basically is they have the same vision. The ownership doesn't have any vision. They rely on whatever he does. And he said it right. They had a Freudian slip about division because that's exactly what's going on here. This team is not together and they don't have any vision. They don't know what they're doing. And the reality is he can't logically, because he's a very emotional guy, you know that. He can't logically sit up here and tell the Who Dat Nation or any football person with common sense that having a team as old as the Saints, who are basically cellar dwellers at this point, is something that is positive. If you have an old team as old as the Saints, the reality is the only way you justify the oldness of the team is because they're a contending team. They're number one, at the very least, number two, competing in that division. That's the only way. How and why are you have this old team that is a team? They're a cellar dweller. You got an old ass team, and all of the older players is where the money is. That's where the money is. The money is where the old players are. Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu, Cam Jordan, Taysom Hill, overusing Taysom. All of this stuff, all of the older players, Derek Hart, he's toward that back end. All of these guys is where the money is. So what kind of vision is that, man? There's no vision there, man. It don't make any sense.
We'll get to that. All of these candidates are going to have strengths and weaknesses, and we've got our strengths and weaknesses and blind spots. And so we just have to go through that and figure out, and we will, who the best fit is for us.
Dennis Allen said on the podcast that it seemed to indicate that you weren't in favor of his firing. Speaking to that collective decision, were you and Dale aligned on that?
Yeah, I don't want to get into that other than look, it was an organization decision, and I'm part of the organization.
No, you are the
That positivity you mentioned was pretty firmly standing behind Dennis last year in January.
Mm-hmm.
Do you regret any of those statements?
No, I don't regret any of it. Dennis Allen's a really good football coach.
This man's an idiot, man.
Yeah, so I don't regret any of that.
You don't regret anything he said last year, even though it was flat out wrong. This guy doesn't have any accountability. This guy's a moron, man. What more can I tell you? Everybody knows Dennis Allen is a failure except for Dennis Allen because he's insane. Only an insane person would hire somebody like Dennis Allen, who really they think that he is something. The man was horrible here. He got fired. He threw his team under the bus several times, backstabbing players, lying to players. The guy was trash. Okay, let's just keep it real. It's no love lost for me, and it is the Saints dealing with Dennis Allen. It's not. I call a spade a spade. The guy was a bum. He was a loser. Okay, let's just be real. The guy was terrible as a head coach. He was awful. But the jewel to it is this guy doesn't admit that he made a mistake with Dennis Allen at all. How are you supposed to fix problems or errors that everybody know was an error if you don't admit to them? That's how this how you know this is going to be some goofy bullshit. Nobody thinks Dennis Allen is a good coach, head coach or otherwise, except for his family or some idiot like this. This is supposed to be the guy with the vision. He couldn't see Dennis Allen, didn't stop him. It took Gale. Remember, Gale fired that guy. He was fighting with Gale, trying to argue to keep him. This is just, and then she is part of the problem. I'm putting her up front and personal because Gail, you had a shot. You could have fixed this. All you had to do was bring somebody in that was an advisor and look around. That's all you had to do. The Saints have clear problems, but the biggest problems is your inability to step in and change things. Because once you stepped in and say, fire the guy, don't stop there. Keep going and bring other guys in, or at least take the general manager position away from this guy. Take it away from him. You want him to be the VP, got two jobs. He don't need the VP and the GM. He don't do any evaluations. He's not serious about nothing. I don't regret anything I said about Dennis Allen. He's a really good coach.
Last year that you and Sean Payton made a good team because he thought you were too patient and you thought he wasn't patient enough.
That's
After 4 years of not going to the playoffs, are you getting more impatient?
I think I'm still pretty patient. I understand that, look, the results are the results. and you can't ignore the
Well,
results.
hold on, look
but you
beyond them,
also
though.
have to look beyond the results.
How could you do both? See, this is the double bull crap talk that Mickey Loomis involved in himself in, because he called himself right there. You don't look beyond no results, man. The results are the results. That's what we've been saying. And he said the right thing, then caught himself and went back to the bullshit line here that you got to look beyond the results. No, the results are the results, and you have to watch the results and go from there. You don't look beyond no results. What part of logical thinking and team building is that? So if I see something that's screwing up or messing up really bad and tearing up, I look back past it. If you got a light on your dash in your vehicle and it's a light, there's the engine light come on or a yellow light come on the dash, you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna look beyond that light. I'll just keep on driving." And you know what's going to happen? You're going to end up on the side of the road because you look beyond the results. That doesn't make any sense. And the fact that he says he's patient is ridiculous, man. You haven't been to the clubs in 4 years. You just fired your coach that you hired 3.5 years ago. Don't have any evaluations going on, no information, no knowledge, but all he does know is that injuries. And he's sitting up here telling you to look beyond the results again. That's original line there, Mickey, Slick Mickey Loomis.
Sometimes
Very
and
original.
understand the reasons behind the symptoms, and
Here's the
some are
problem.
in our
Here's the
control,
problem.
some aren't. And so, look, we have to do the best job we can with the thing.
No, all of them are in your control because you are the part of the problem. I think I'm patient. It's
Things that
crazy.
are in our control, and we have to understand the things
Got
that
everything.
aren't. And look, I know you guys, nobody wants to hear this, but this injury thing was a big deal this year, a really big deal. Prevented
You
us
don't
from
know nothing
winning
else.
games, prevented us from being competitive in games.
No, Mickey. Loomis, liar. What stopped the Saints from being competitive in games wasn't so much the injuries. It was execution. It was play. It was head coaching. That's what stopped the Saints from being effective in many of these games. Because even though they lost to Philadelphia, what was that in week number 3? The Saints could have won that game if it wasn't for ridiculous coaching and a team that was undisciplined. A lot of times when you go through the year, everybody has injuries. Is how you maneuver around them. Mickey Loomis, you have free agency. You have trades before the trade deadline, and you can pilfer people off the practice squad to keep your team moving until you get those players back. And even if you get the players back, it's no guarantee that they won't get hurt again, you moron, you. And that is exactly what happened again this year when they were waiting for Eric McCoy to get back. McCoy came back way in the year, got dinged up, missed some time, then came back again and got hurt and was shelved for the rest of the season. There are no guarantees with this. You get guys back, but there's no guarantee once you get them back, they can't get hurt and get going again. Come on, man. Everybody has those injuries. It's up to you to do your job as the general manager to keep fresh talent coming in and out of this team. That is the truth. There are no excuses here. There's no excuses. None of that at all. But he don't know shit else, but he knows injuries. Not bad, not dumb head coaching. Not ineffective ability of the coaches to get players on code to execute. None of that. Not to mention all of the dozens, if not hundreds of practices that the Saints team had between games going into this season, still not being prepared to execute. Huh? Was it injuries in those games where the Saints had an opportunity to win when they was out there false starting and dropping passes, missing blocks, missing tackles? Was it injuries then? Huh? Was it injuries then? When Demario Davis and Tyrann Mathieu missing interceptions, was it injuries then? When Derek Carr throwing interceptions, was it injuries then? When guys were missing kicks, was it injuries then? Come on, bro. It's not. I sat here just like y'all did and watched this whole season. Y'all know that's a bold-faced lie. But this is what they do. They lie to make it through to get more money out of you. That's what this is about. I hate to go back to it because you know it's a lie. And we're not going to go for that, man. That's a lie.
games. And so we have to get a handle on that. I think more than anything else.
You did say
How you gonna get a handle on something that you saying is out of your control to get a handle on, Loomis? Make it make sense. You're talking circles. You just said just briefly earlier that there's things out of your control and some things out of your control, and then you run right into the injury excuse for the second time in the interview, and we're not even 7 minutes in. We have to get a handle on it. How you gonna get a handle on something that don't have a handle according to your own logic? The injuries, you're just at the mercy of the injuries according to what you're telling us. So how you gonna get a handle on it? You're not gonna get it. You're talking crap, man. Shout out to Q. Let's give a shout out to Rich, man. Appreciate you, Rich. He says Q Mickey is the definition of insanity, no doubt. This is crazy, man. And this buffoon is the guy running your team. This dude hired Dennis Allen, and he sounds just like Dennis Allen. I didn't fail. The Saints just went in a different direction. And with a bold face, I'm like, nah, bro, what are you talking about? You are insane. You failed miserably. They fired you after a 7-game losing streak and a sub 500 record in 3.5 years. That's what got you canned. A lot of the players said you should have been gone after the second year. That's what they were saying. That's why it was a split in the locker room, the same split that he was lying about, talking about it didn't exist. This dude went around and was a party to everything that Dennis Allen did to destroy this team over the last 3 years. Thank you, Rich.
I'm gonna say thank you very much for picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
At some point, we got to get it figured out,
you
man.
and the organization have some strengths and weaknesses and blank spots. What stands out as sort of weaknesses and blank spots?
Yeah,
in the current-
I don't think I really want to get into the specifics of that. I'm just
We don't
saying
know.
that in general, all of us, we have strengths and weaknesses. And so, you have to marry up and be able to compensate for those things. We talked about one right here. I'm maybe overly patient. So, we have to have some people in here that are more, less patient, I guess.
You listed
This dude insane, man. He's overly patient. No, he's lazy. No. Let's get the right action. That's not over patience. That's laziness. This guy's lazy, man. He doesn't do in-season evaluations. He makes excuses as opposed to going and finding solutions. He do an end-of-season press conference with no data on his players and no evaluations on players or coaches or anything. This is a general man. This guy's a joke, man. He's unprepared and he's lazy. This is not patience. I'm overly patient. And then sitting there smiling and laughing like it's a game. Dude, your team finished with 5 wins. What the hell is you talking about? Why are you so jovial? Why are you so jovial, dude? This ain't a game to us. You sitting up here, the team won 5 games and finished in the cellar of the NFC South, and this idiot sitting up here smiling and laughing. I'm overly patient. What is this? What's going on here? Why? What is this weird energy? I'm overly patient. No, he don't give a damn. Let's get it straight. He don't give a damn. That's what this is. It's not about overly patient. And as if you had the opposite guy, that energy would be me. You would not tolerate that because I promise you there are guys that's pressing to get this guy to move him on up out of the way. He's suffocating the team. There's no reason for him to have both those positions, but he's sitting there suffocating the team, and you got a big fat idiot like Lauscher, and Gale is blind as a bat letting it happen. I have zero confidence in these people, man, because they don't care. They only care about the money. And then they sit up here and talk about injuries twice, and Oshner Health sign is sitting behind this goddamn guy. How ironic is that? We got to get a handle on it. All these old injuries, Q. Line now. Clam chowder. What's happening here? All these injuries. We got to get a handle on it. Hey, Mickey Loomis, check behind you. You have Oshner Health. There's a health system that you just read up with just a couple of weeks ago. that this has been happening to the Saints players and the Pelicans players serving the same place. And I've been telling them people to break away from Ashna for years now because it's not working. But it's not about the health, it's about the money. We have all these injuries, quick to spout out injuries, have no answers, but Ashna Health is behind him on the banner. Ashna Health, look at the damn banner. Ashna Health, him complaining about injuries, but Ashna's behind the banner behind him. You can't make it up. These people are idiots. Ashna Health is behind him while he's complaining about team injuries. Isn't that something? I mean, you can't make it up, man. You can't make it shit up, man.
You're
Proactive. Let me say proactive as opposed to less patient.
You're not that.
You talked about being overwhelmingly positive. There's been a overwhelming negative aura around the season this year, and even towards you. I'm sure you're not, even though you probably don't pay attention to all of it, you obviously see it. Does it affect you, and maybe more on the human side too? I mean, you're ingrained in this community for 2 decades. You have kids that live here and stuff like that. But you have to help them compartmentalize some of the things they see and hear.
I don't think too much. You know, look, people that I run into, fans, etc., they're generally positive with me. So the occasional
Stop the cap.
Are you kidding me? That is a lie. Y'all know that's a lie. No, dog. I'm not buying that one, Mickey. Were they little kids you running into? Then people see Mickey Loomis and say, "Hey, Mickey, man, you're doing a great job, Mickey." Oh, hey, thank you, guy. No, that's just a lie, Mickey. I don't believe that. Well, most of them, like, I'm very positive. They tell me, "Hey, you're doing a good job, Mickey Loomis." Oh, no, I'm not buying that, bro.
negative attitude, that's just part of the job. You know, that's part of what we sign up for. And I try not to let it affect me. I don't think it affects my family too much.
We're not talking about your family, bro. Keep your people out of this.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say that that's a big problem. But I understand it.
Do you?
Look, that's the advantage of having such a passionate, or that's the disadvantage to having such a passionate fan base, is that
a disadvantage.
Is that when things aren't going well, they're going to be passionate the other direction. I understand that. It's understandable.
Disadvantage. The disadvantage. The disadvantage of having such a passionate. Nah, it's called accountability, Mickey Loomis. That's the difference. We're going to force you to do your damn job. We're going to put heat on you. We're going to put your feet to the fire. And that which makes it uncomfortable because he really doesn't want to do it because he's lazy. He's lazy and he doesn't give a damn. He just wants people to smash their ass, go to the games, and whether you win, lose, or draw, hey, bring us your money. We don't care. We're good. He calls himself overly patient. I say it's laziness. He's lazy. And he don't give a damn. He really don't, bro. He really doesn't give a damn. The disadvantage of having a passionate family base. Well, you know, that's one of the disadvantages, you know, not an advantage that they'll make sure that because they want to win and they'll hold you to the accountability. This guy don't believe in that. Just leave us alone and let us do what we do. It's a part of the job. Nah, you're gonna get this smoke every bit of the way until we get you out of here.
Are frustrated? Like, what would you say to them that like don't have confidence in your game?
Crazy,
like,
man.
Why do you think you guys will get this right this time?
Yeah, because we've gotten it right before.
How would you assess Rizzy's job overall, given the circumstances?
Yeah, I think really tough circumstances. I think he did some really good things and some things that I think he did a really good job under some really tough circumstances.
You said that you need to take time to evaluate things, but based on his injuries as of the last.
How the hell he knows? He don't know anything. There's no evaluation work being done. This is totally unprofessional, man. He just sitting up there And then there won't be a press conference later on to give you any evaluations. Let's just let you know that. Let me just tell you that right now. I'm going to tell you that right now. There will be no press conference to tell you about any evaluations that he did, or if they did any evaluations. There won't be a press conference to tell you that. Did you get that? You won't get that. This is where it's supposed to happen. So whatever evaluations they did, you won't get that. You won't get it in a press conference with him breaking that down. You won't get it. So they're asking him questions and he don't know nothing. He didn't do any work.
What's your confidence level in Derek Carr right now?
Yeah, I have high level of confidence in Derek. You know, listen, he did some really good things here. He has done some really good things here. I think, I mean, if he had qualified, which I'm not sure if he did, I mean, his quarterback rating would be in the top 10. His interception rating would be in the top 10. His yards per attempt would be in the top 10 under some really tough circumstances when you don't have, you know, your top 2 receivers and you don't have that special weapon in Taysom Hill, and we don't have the middle portion of our offensive line, and we have a rookie left tackle. There's some tough circumstances for a quarterback to deal with. So I think he's done a lot of really good things.
Hey, Loomis, nobody gives a damn, man. Let's keep it straight. You can miss me with the top 10 talk, and even players would tell you that when they sit up here with 5 wins on the season. You don't get $150 million for excuses. Players get hurt all the time. That's what the hell a depth chart for. We're not crazy enough to believe what you're saying. That's why you create a depth chart to absorb as many of these injuries as you possibly can. If you need to make trades and bring guys in, you do that. But coaches still have to coach. Coaches still have to keep guys on code. Coaches still have to make sure guys execute. That's what coaches are here for. The plan doesn't change. If you lose a player, it might take a really good player, like I say, Alvin Kamara, might take a couple of guys to replace what he does because he's so unique. But still in all, you have to do it. That's why if you bring a guy in like Jordan Mims or Jamal Williams, guys that they sign and don't utilize them properly, there's no surprise why there's no success. See, the problem is the failures being masked with injuries, and it's not injuries, as I've said before. The problem with the Saints' failure is inability to execute with personnel that they have. You're not ever going to start a season and finish the season with the same team you had at the start of the season, is my point. That's never going to happen because it's a physical game and stuff happens in between. It is the job of the coach to pick the personnel for the depth chart that they can move in and out as they see fit to keep things going. That's what it comes down to. And if coaches don't coach and get players on code, then losing will happen. Because there were teams that were dealing with injuries, that were missing people, and still beat teams who had some of their people. When the Raiders came to town and beat the Saints 25-10, I think it was, in the season finale in the Dome, the Raiders had, I think it was 17 people that were laid up on the IR. 17 people, and that's some of their best people missing. Didn't stop the Raiders from beating the Saints' ass, despite all the injuries. What happened there? It's about using who you have to get the results that you need to get. That's what it's about. All this other stuff about excuses and him not missing out on him not having people. And Chris Olave was the ball he threw that tucked him away. So, I mean, at times you have to be able to adjust. That's what it's about. I don't care about this crap you're talking about top 10 and top 15 and all that BS, man. And you sit up here with 5 wins and in the cellar underneath the Carolina Panthers. That don't make any sense to me, bro. It was stupid, man.
What do you think makes this job a good job?
Yeah, I think there's a lot, well, first of all, look, we got the best professional sports league in the world, right? And there's 32 jobs, and a lot of guys want to be head coach. So every job is attractive. They just are, including ours. And we have a lot of things to offer. We have a great city, great fan base. We have great ownership. We have had stability in our building for a long, long time. And I think we're viewed that way.
When you mentioned that stability, not to mention any coaches specifically, but as you go through this process, there's some that you have extreme familiarity with, there's others that may be unknowns. How do you weigh that in the end? Those that you may feel comfortable with versus those that may be uncomfortable?
Well, I just think there's probably less research you have to do with guys that you're familiar with, right? But that's
like
not
Dennis Allen.
we're gonna select the best candidate, and the advantage of having Dave and Randy and Jeff as part of the process is that that's a lot of experience in our league, and there's not many guys that they don't have a direct or an indirect experience with. So we're going to take advantage. It's one of the things we can take advantage of.
What's your view on just kind of
Well, making a difference if you ain't evaluating
going
nothing.
back a little bit, maybe starting over with a younger quarterback and like going back to the studs and building up from there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's such a circumstantial thing, right? So, it's not like we have the first pick of the draft. It's we're at 10, I think, as I recall right now.
9.
What are we? 9. Excuse me. It was.
You don't even know that.
You
don't even know where they draft. This is the gym.
that
Don't
doesn't
even know where they
guarantee
draft
anything in the draft, and we haven't gone through the draft process. And so there's just I like what Spencer, like a lot of things that Spencer did during the season. I like Jay Keener. I like Derek. So we've got options. We've got things that we're going to evaluate. Things that a new coach is going to have on his plate to evaluate, and then we'll have a collective vision.
General manager here.
The new coach will have like a large say in quarterback direction now, maybe in the future also. And in that same vein, the staffing, does the coach have a clean slate to hire whoever he wants?
Yes.
Like, is there anyone here that you're saying has to be part of that?
Nope. No, I believe in the head coach determining his staff, and absolutely.
And I'm blocking any lateral interviews at this point.
Yeah, here's what I've told our staff. I said, look, they're all employed. They all have jobs here until a new coach comes in and makes his determination. If they have an opportunity for someplace else, then come see me and we'll discuss it, and we'll grant permission accordingly.
What goes into that?
So hopefully, because the inside baseball is saying that they were saying originally that there was a possibility that he wanted them to perhaps keep some of the remaining coaches from the previous regime. Now, I like several of these people. There's a lot of good coaches that I like. I like Clancy Barone, the tight ends coach. I like the wide receivers coach. I like the running backs coach. I like the defensive line coach. I like the linebackers coach, Mike Hodges. I do like Joe Woods as a person, as a defensive coordinator. I don't know if he sticks and stays, but there are several guys that I like. I like Andrew Janoku. I think Janoku's decent. There's several coaches, positional coaches that I like, but man, listen, if a guy come in here and he say, hey man, I don't want none of these dudes, I want my own dudes, that's how it is in the league. Hasta la vista. Catch on somewhere else. They know what it is. You know what it is when you come here, you don't win. That's the NFL. It's win or go home. And that's literally the case. So we'll see how it lands, man. We'll see who it is.
Sorry, go ahead.
What goes into the decision for a guy like Clint Kubiak taking two interviews? It sounds like.
Yeah.
Browns.
Just look, he's got an opportunity, like a lot of things that Clint did with us, and but again, I don't want to block someone when I can't guarantee that they'll have an opportunity.
You blocking Kai Harley.
He wouldn't take a pay
Blocking
cut.
the hell out of Kai
So,
Hartley.
$51 million cap hit. Would y'all be comfortable going into the season with him sitting
Yeah, I think all that needs to be, has yet to be determined.
How much progress do you feel like you can make this offseason when it comes to getting closer to being right with the salary cap following the COVID drop?
Yeah, I've seen that narrative out there. I think there's you can't just say, hey, here's the number, here's their over, and that's a disaster, right? We've got the most players under contract of any team. Yes, we're over, but there's a lot of teams below us that have, we've got 61 players under contract right now. And there's teams that have cap room, but they've got 38 or 36. So it's a collective, how much guaranteed is out there? How much is the acceleration that exists?
This how you justify being 60 million in the red?
There's so many elements.
We got a lot of
pretty
players.
comfortable with where we're at.
Guy's a maniac.
I'm comfortably uncomfortable. So
this is a buffoon. Where my clown music at, man? This is an idiot. So that's how we justify cap issues. Well, hold on now. God damn it. They have a lot of guys. We have 60 guys on the team. That's why we're $60 million in the red. $1 million per player. See, other guys, they don't have that. They got 30 guys. That's why they're under the cap. Really? That's how it sounds like, right? Hell, I'm comfortably uncomfortable. No, you're just a moron, dude. I'm sorry. You just, hold on now. We got 30-something million. $60 million in the red. Dude, that's head and shoulders over the next team underneath us. $60 million in the red. And the team is a 5-win team with the oldest team in the NFL, a 5-win team in the cellar with younger teams playing better and higher prospects. And this ship is basically sinking, right? You're 60 million in the red, and look at the energy of supposedly your general manager person who's supposed to have the keys in the plan. Look at this guy. I'm comfortably uncomfortable.
So it's something
you don't even
we
see
have
the
to
boat
manage.
sinking.
But there's a lot of teams that have to manage their cap that way.
Who's $60 million in the red, Mickey?
Some of the ones that don't are going to have to at some point. So
no, they don't. They're just responsible.
I feel okay about where we're at. I think we're making progress from where we've been the last few years. That
from 100 million.
So I'm feeling better about it.
This dude is crazy, man. I'm feeling better about where we were a couple of years ago. Don't you know we were $100 million over the cap? So we're 60 this year. That's progress. We're not $100 million. I'm literally not joking about this. A couple of years ago, we were $100 million in the red. We were 80-something million the year after that. And we're $60 million in the red. And this is what he says. We got 60-something people. That's on our team. Other teams just got 30 people. Well, that's it. That's why we're $60 million. What? Let me hit that Westbrook on the ass.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
That is completely psychotic.
I don't know what to say about this, fam. This is ridiculous, man. That people gonna have to start acting like Mickey Loomis. Saints are 60 million. They're head and shoulders over the second team. He don't see that as an issue to attract coaches here. The fact that the Saints are $60 million in the red. The fact that it's just unreal. It's unbelievable, man.
You've spoken about
unbelievable
the passion of the fans and the connection the city has to the team. How much
crazy,
not organizationally, just personally for you, is this hiring, wanting to get things turned around and back in the right direction?
Yeah, look, I have a love for the community, right? A love for New Orleans. Wasn't originally from here, but I like to tell people I'm from here now.
I don't even want to hear that.
I know how much the success of our team impacts our city.
To get up off your ass and do something.
So I take it personal when we're not successful.
That's bull.
All of our guys take it personal.
That's bull.
That's just part of it.
He don't take nothing personal unless when you're going at him. Trust me on that. Trust me. This dude is extremely petty. Extremely petty. Trust me on that. Remember, it's different situations. I always point this out about this guy. Extremely petty. Talking about we take it personal. And he's overly patient. I'm overly patient. How could you take something serious and be overly patient at the same time? and your team is losing 4 straight years and you go in the opposite direction. What is he taking serious? Who's taking what serious? They're not taking anything serious. That's the point. That's why the family base is so rabid. We're upset as a family base, a support base, because of the fact that these people have a lackadaisical, non-caring, bullshit, back-ass philosophy that is destroying the team. That's the point. If they were moving with a powerful energy and showing that they're doing something, I would not nearly be where I'm at. I'm where I am because they're not where they need to be. That's what this is. This guy is so full of it, man. This dude right here, man, is so full of it. Sitting up there smug. Oh, I take it personal. Only thing he takes personal because he reads all those articles. He takes that personal. When you talk about him and how his hires were bad, he takes that personal. When Bobby Hebert was interviewing and Bobby Hebert was saying things that the supporters were telling him to say, because Bobby Hebert out there moving around and people talking to him, he got the word of the street. 2 people be bringing it to him. Hey, man, why is Mickey Loomis doing this? Why is this such and such? You know what that man doing? Writes it down and he said, you know what? And then when he was talking to Mickey Loomis, because it was a point where Mickey stopped talking to him because he was asking questions that the supporters know. And that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. Because they want to know it. It's their team. They want to know why this is this way and that way. And the best reporters get the answers that the people want to know the most. That's how that works. Ain't nobody reading nobody article or promoting nobody when they're not talking what they want to hear. Come on now. They know that. And the best reporters know that. The best journalists know that, man. But when Bobby Hebert was doing his job and doing that, Mickey Loomis didn't like that. He cut that off and only let Mike Hoss interview him. Put 1 in the chat if I'm 100% in the chat if I'm talking facts. This dude is extremely petty and thin-skinned. And sitting up here smug. This guy is a liar, man. He don't take nothing personal except for people that force him to do his job. That's the truth.
You know, being in New Orleans, it kind of gets into your blood and gets into your
oh no, it ain't doing nothing for
soul. And so not having a successful season
4 seasons,
is painful.
4 seasons.
And so look, I'm as determined as ever to you know, let's get us back in the playoffs. Let's get us back on the right track here. And I think we can do that. I know I can do it. I know we can. It's not a matter of if, I know we can do it.
We've asked you before about, and you kiddingly say you're trying to run us off, run me off. I mean, you considered retirement ever? I mean, is that something ever, what keeps you going then? Look,
I got a passion for, I've got a passion for the sport. I got a passion for the Saints. I got a passion for all of it. I feel like, look, I've got all my faculties here.
No, you don't.
The only,
well, you don't. You crazy as hell.
Nobody would ask me that question if I wasn't 68, right?
Of course they
wouldn't ask me the question.
Right. You old.
Listen, you want to go out and challenge me to something? I'm ready to take you on, Jeff. Let's go.
You looked at Jeff. You pushed Jeff over with one hand. The crazy part about it is that Mickey Loomis is batshit crazy, man. And the cold-blooded part about it, Dennis Lauscher, who his boss, don't know shit to stop him. Because if Dennis Lauscher was really a true football president, like his title would tell you, then he would say, Mickey, you know what? We appreciate your service. You've been doing this for 20-something odd years. You're 68 almost. You're going to be 70 in a couple of years. Let me bring a young person here. You done trained up Kai Hartley here. You've been an assistant general manager for a while. Let's give him the job. It just looks better. That way he can be able to go about the business of building the team. That make all the sense in the world. But when you don't have anybody there to stop this guy, then he can do whatever he wants to because Gail don't care. Gail don't care. Lauscher don't care. They don't care. So they let him run the team into the ground. He sit up there smiling, and I said it again. Team 5 wins. 5-win team, oldest roster, 60 million in the cap, and this dude's smug as a bug in a rug.
Not a fight. I'm not talking about that.
Jeff Duncan get out there and whoop your ass.
Never been a great fighter, but if you want to play me golf, you want to play, if I ever felt like my acumen or my ability to think and ability to do the things necessary in this job were waning, I'd be the first guy to say, hey, wait a minute. So no, retirement's not on my mind. Getting back to the playoffs and winning football, that's what's on my mind.
Does this season like impact how you? What about like?
Oh my goodness. Let's proceed.
Front office in general, though, like, do you anticipate making any changes there, whether it's scouting or?
Yeah, I think. Well, changes are like what? I mean, personnel changes. I mean, listen, we're always looking at. We've got some ideas about how we can do our processes a little differently. It's one of the advantages of having, Dave and Randy, who are kind of outside looking in, come in and say, hey, what about this? What about that? Why are you doing it this way? There's been some good dialogue and some good ideas that come out of that. Listen, I love Jeff Ireland and Michael Parrington in the roles that they have in our, both pro and college personnel areas. I think they do a fantastic job. So there's not going to be any changes in that regard, but there are going to be some discussions and some tweaks and some changes in terms of some of the things that we do, because we're getting good input.
I mean, come on, bro. There'll be no changes. Oh my God. These people. Oh my goodness gracious. There'll be no changes. No changes, huh? You're gonna keep doing the same stuff, talk about getting it right and getting it fixed, right? I know. This is just
That is completely psychotic.
Oh my God. These people are insane. They're expecting change, things to get better, and they're doing the same. These people are crazy, man. Oh my goodness. Oh Lord, let's carry on, man.
Like a
Oh,
thorough
help.
evaluation of so you might not answer, but
Help us,
what
Lord.
did this season teach you about kind of the roster itself? Like, I know injuries, but is it the types of players being injured? Like, did you?
Yeah, we haven't done a deep enough dive. It's, that's the area we need to look at and say, is this just coincidental, or are there things that we're not looking at closely enough? Like we had we had a lot of soft tissue injuries early in the season, and those are the things that you immediately think, well, there's things you can do to prevent that. And so I think that's probably the first place we start. We had a good experience though a year ago.
Did you? You were saying excuses last year.
Nearly as tough as it was this year. So again, that's just, those are things we have to really look at hard and say, hey, how can we do a better job keeping our guys on the field?
Following up on that.
Listen, man. Once again, he's talking about health with Oshner Hospital behind. I mean, I just can't. I can't get over the view. It's just Mickey Loomis is talking about injuries with the Saints, and Oshner Health's banner is behind him. They use the Oshner Health system. Dennis Lauscher, who's this idiot's boss, is a director on the board of the 47 hospital system, the monopoly behemoth that Oshner is. Lauscher is a director on the board. He's on the board. They just read up another agreement with these people last week. We covered it on Pelican Post Game Report. This is the kind of stuff I watch out for because it explains it's more than just football. Because when I talk about football, I talk about the money, I talk about the politics behind it, and I talk about the stuff behind the scenes that explains why what we see is what it is. It doesn't make any sense to me from a health standpoint for them to keep partner with these people, and this system is not even keeping their players. It's not a benefit to the Saints. And according to the words out of his own wretched mouth, he just said that the injuries were worse this year than what they were last year, even though he was using each year that they failed, which has been 4 years of 9 playoff wins, of 9 playoff appearances, 4 years that they have these injuries. And he said they're worse this year than last year, which means the situation is getting worse. Then why are you re-ing up with them? We have to look into it. You see, well, soft tissue. We got to look into it, says the guy with the Oshner banner behind him. That I just can't get over that. That is extremely ridiculous, fam. It really is, isn't it? That is extremely ridiculous to be talking about. You got access to all these people. Now, listen, from a sports standpoint, Oshner does a lot of good stuff, but when it comes down to their sports side, obviously something's wrong here. Something wrong. Because it's not only the Saints, but the Pelicans is the same way. So it's not isolated to the Saints. He even alludes to it, I think, coming up next.
The front office changes question. Will the model be the same? Will a new head coach be a head coach only underneath you, and there wouldn't be any hiring? I think of, because they're a popular topic now, Dan Kimball and Brad Holmes together that work they work for this existing front office, and it's just a coach being hired. Is that the idea?
Yeah. Yes.
You talked about.
And I was going to say, speaking of front office decisions, how alarming is something like Zach Vaughn's season? And I know Trey Hendrickson's also first team All-Pro.
Yeah.
When two things like that happen in the span of a couple of years, how alarming is that?
Well, look, it's not something that you like, that's for sure. But I understand the circumstances behind it. Look, we tried to sign, Zach Vaughn, but he was looking for, opportunity.
He wanted to start, man.
Playing time, and
he wanted to start, yeah.
Under the last, system, that wasn't going to be as likely. So, look, I'm excited that we drafted those players and they've had success. They were identified as talented players, but obviously it's not great when they go and have success someplace else. That hasn't happened a lot in our tenure here, but it does happen. And no different than when we get somebody from another team and they have success. Sometimes it's circumstantial. But no, when you draft good players, you want to keep them. Absolutely.
Shout out to our reporters, man. Let me give them guys a round of applause, because that sound like questions you guys. Our reporters, shout out to our reporters, because they are asking the good questions that has this worm squirming, because the reality is the Zach Bowen thing and is imperative. Zach Bowen in there for Philly making plays. I seen the Kobe Dean go down with I think it was a knee issue. Zach Bowen went in there and made some plays. He kind of passed interference the hell out of a guy in the end zone, but they didn't call it. But Zach Bowen all season long for Philly has been a hell spawn for them and doing a lot of positive stuff there. And much of the season, he was one of the best players on that defense. And Trey Hendrickson, that's a whole nother matter. Remember, Trey Hendrickson was cast to the wayside for Marcus Davenport. Let's not forget that. So it has been an unmitigated disaster with many of the picks that the Saints have had. They haven't had a solid draft that we put together in a while. It has, they haven't. Like I've said, they've hit on the undrafted more than the drafted. That's why you see all these guys out competing players that were supposed to be drafted first or second, guys thirds, whatever. Juwan Johnson, undrafted starter. Carl Granderson, undrafted starter, beat out Davenport, beat out Peyton Turner, Isaiah Foskey. These are all drafted guys. Rashid Shaheed, undrafted. So you had a bunch of guys that were undrafted. That's where the Saints are hitting at in the undrafted ranks, because they have a reputation as a team that if you can play football as an undrafted college free agent, you can come in here, you can have an opportunity to start, because they love paying those guys. They get 2 to 3 the value out of what they play, or pay these guys rather. You see what I'm saying? So if you see undrafted guys come here and excel, that's the mantra of the Saints, because the Saints will load up 5 to 6 to 7 or 8 players with big money and then fill the rest of the coffers out with guys like these undrafted guys like JT Gray, who just got another Pro Bowl thing. Guys that really good young players like Rico Payton and others. So they're littered and loaded with undrafted talent. Anthony Orji, the young linebacker, undrafted, is going to be good for you. So they've done a decent job of hitting in the draft and the undrafted market as opposed to the drafted market. That's just where they are. And the free agent game has been a mixed bag, to be honest with you. We were able to hit on some things, and a lot of times we didn't. The Marcus May thing was a disaster. Getting Chase Young in here turned out to be all right. MVS was a solid pickup move if they stick with the guy, depending on where we are in terms of the money and the vision of the team going forward, because it could very well change. Here we go.
Just a quick joke. You do have the height and reach on Jeff, so I'd probably take you on fight.
But that's why I picked him out.
You talked about the new head coach's vision. If I could maybe ask specifically, I know last year you talked about Derek at this press conference finishing the season so strong, and DeMario being an all-pro at 34,
Yeah.
Cam being so good. Is your vision that this roster with these players can still be elite?
Yeah, again, that's part of the evaluation we have to do that we haven't done yet, because we've been involved with going through these candidates. So I can't really answer that yet.
So let me get something straight. The reason why you couldn't do evaluations on your team is because you were looking for head coaches. The crazy part about it is, fam, that makes no sense. Mickey Loomis has a team of people. You don't need all of them looking at coaching candidates. And what were all these men doing during the year, leading down to the year, and the gap in between when the regular season ended and these first flock of playoff games started? There was a gap of time. You couldn't do your evaluations within a week's time frame, and it's several of you. I'm asking a serious question because these guys are getting paid. What are they getting paid to do? If I'm me personally, if I'm a real evaluator of talent, I don't start evaluating talent at the end of the year. I'm evaluating talent during the year. That's the way I am on the pulse of my team, knowing what my team needs and what they don't need. As a general manager, I can iron out wrinkles or differences between players. My door is open to iron out, like I said, grievances between people beefing. Somebody might have a problem with the coach. You can come to me. I'll fix it. This guy is not that guy. This guy keeps his door closed. He don't do any in-season evaluations. That's why he has no answers. And how could he be so smug with no answers? How could he be sitting up here with no information about his team and just keep saying, well, we didn't, we were just focused on coaching. What was happening during the year? Well, the year wasn't over, Q. That's why we didn't do our end season. No, the end season means you have the evaluations ready for when the year end. Because truthfully, it don't take you a month or 2 months to do evaluations on players if you own your game. You know how I know? Because I do in season evaluations every damn week. I'm looking at the team. I know who's doing what they're supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do. How? I know that because we watch the games, we watch the all 22, and we follow it. We know what guys are doing what they're not supposed to do. We do that the entire year. We know when guys are, if they're progressing and when they're not. That's why I was hard on Cesar Ruiz and said, fam, listen, this guy's a problem. How do you know that? Because every damn week I'm looking and studying the tape on Ruiz. The same stuff that they supposed to be studying. So how he don't know what we know? That's because he don't give a damn and he lazy. That's what's going on here. There will be no in-season evaluations given to you. They won't give them to you. He's supposed to do that now. That's a guy that's serious. Is also and once again, you're a 5-win team. You're in the cellar of the NFC South and the oldest team in the NFL. What's this smug bullshit energy he got here? Like he got it all figured out. You don't know nothing. He didn't know how. He didn't even know where they were going to be drafting. We're drafting at number 10. I'm like 9. Oh, 9? Oh, okay. There you go. 9. This is your general manager, right? This man ain't generally managing nothing. This guy couldn't manage a Dollar General, man. This dude don't know what he's doing, fam. It's just, man has no answers. I don't know if I'm going to be able to even get through this whole damn thing, man. Seriously. Chantel says, Q, the Saints need fresh, younger players, not old, broke down players. Mickey is sinking this team. He is. Look at Carolina. Look at the Carolina Panthers. They are a young team that played their hearts out this year. What's your opinion? You're absolutely right. And that's why I was saying that it's an indictment on the Saints brass to sit up here and be as smug when Atlanta and Carolina have surpassed the Saints this year. All you had, and listen to me now, Who Dat Nation. Listen to what I'm saying. Great Saint think tank. Hear me out. The only justification that you have to have this old ass team was the fact that they were supposed to be competitive. They were supposed to be on top of the NFC South. That's the only reason it would justify you paying these old players. But it makes no sense if that is not the case. If you're a team in the cellar, why we still got these old players here? They're not helping us win, fam. They're not. Then why are they here? Why are they still here? If you're the cellar dweller in NFC South, the oldest team, and your competitors have younger teams that are outperforming you. The Carolina Panthers split with you this year. You were supposed to sweep them people. Everybody was saying that about, we're going to sweep Carolina. At least we get that. Hell no. Carolina said, wait, we got something to say about that. The Saints split with them. They took that game. That showed you, right? I was like, damn, they beat him. I was so happy that I knew that, if he loses this game, this will get that possum out of here, because ain't no denying that. So when they lost, it was a happiness that we finally was forced to pull the trigger to get him out of here. But at the same time, the lesson at the time eluded me, because what the real issue was, at that point, Carolina says, man, we got these people. So you'll see in the future, because they had a losing year, but Bryce Young took a step. And that's something that the Saints don't have. Everybody else in this league has a younger quarterback that's performing. The Atlanta Falcons made their move to Michael Penix. Trust me, he's an older quarterback. He got some young, but he's an older veteran kind of quarterback, played in a lot of games in college, has a kind of a shorter curve, has all that talent there. They will be better. Carolina with Bryce Young, the pressure situation, the pressure cooker he was put in when he first got there kind of failed. They benched him a little bit in that first year, came back with a different coaching staff in the second year. They fell out of contention from the playoffs. And when that happened, they brought him back because they know the season was over. That's the greatest thing ever happened to him. Then he was able to perform without expectation on him. And that was what hurting him. All of the expectation to carry the team into the playoffs in his first year, he couldn't handle that. It was too much. But in the second year, the losing and no hope of making the playoffs or the postseason, them knowing they're out of it, all he can do now is play football. And that was a good thing, because now in the third year, watch how he looks in the third year as they retool a team around him. What the Saints going to do? You have the third offensive coordinator in the 3 years that Derek Carr been here. In both times under both systems, he struggled. In many cases, the Saints could not furnish a consistent running attack to balance off of him. And like I say, one thing, people don't like Derek Carr, but the one thing I say about Derek Carr that could work is if you put him into play action, but you need a strong running attack to do that. That's the tape. I don't care about it, all this other stuff about him from the past. I really don't care. If you put him into play action, he'll kill he'll kill your opponent. He's a really good play action quarterback. Like, I think he's top 5 in the NFL when you talk about play action stats. He works now, but you have to have a strong running attack, which means you have to retool the Saints bullshit offensive line. That's right, bullshit. Lucas Patrick has to go. Cesar Ruiz needs a reality check, and you need to see about having a good young center to eventually replace McCoy, because his injuries, his repetitive injuries, is a sign that you might want to have some more fortification there. Also, you need to build up the reserves for that offensive line, and that's what you focus on. And I wouldn't be upset if they retool the defensive line. Both these lines need to be retooled, family. Retooled internally. You really need a really good nose tackle too to kind of help out there. But I'm throwing that out there because, fam, that's evaluating. What I just did was evaluating because I know my team, because I study film. I know these players. I know their tendencies, because I even know when they're improving. I can see, we look at the tape and you can see from week to week if the player is showing improvement. That's evaluating. How we know that, and this idiot don't even know that, because he don't study no tape. He don't study anything. He don't know anything. If those people were asking me questions about these players, I can answer all the questions without bullshitting around with like he doing. Well, we don't know. Well, what do you know outside of blame and injuries for why failure occurred on the team? Because that's all he do. Let me see if I can make it a few more minutes through this. Oh, let me shut him up. Thank you, Chantel. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
You know the team better than them. Shout out to you, Queen. Appreciate you. Let's get back to Slick Mickey Loomis with his BS.
Press conference was the culture of the team, and wanted to kind of correct that. You feel like you got enough done toward that end this year? And is a new coach hire part of fostering that?
Yeah. I thought there were some things that collectively we did a lot better.
Like what?
A lot better.
Like what?
But I think that, look, any new coach is going to set the tone and define the vision for what the culture is going to look like for his team. And
we'll have to, because we don't have none.
That has yet to be determined.
Is there a type to the coach? Like, do you want a play caller, more of a culture builder?
You just want the best coach possible. And it's like I said, all of these candidates, all of them, they have strengths and weaknesses. And so I don't want to put, anything into a box and say it's got to be this.
Half of the candidates.
Isn't that what you're doing with Derek Carr?
Sort of confirmed so far are offensive coordinators. Is that because that's what the league produces, or you're very interested in exploring the idea of somebody that calls their own plays and runs their own offense?
Yeah, I mean, half are offensive coordinators, so the other half are defensive coordinators and special teams coordinators, right? So, that's the candidate pool. You're looking at the best coaches available, and obviously they're going to have an expertise on one side of the ball or the other, or a special teams candidate, and so that's the pool.
Outside of maybe the new faces to the interview process, like what changes, if any, have y'all made to maybe the questions you ask, or how you do the coaching search to ensure that you get the right candidate this time?
Well, I just think by look, we did it 3 years ago, right? But we hadn't done it for however many years before that. It was a long time between times. So you learn something from it. I think having some new people, Randy and Dave and Michael Parrington. Well, actually, Michael was involved last time. You learn from the last process, and you get some input on from these other guys. And so I think it's similar, but there's probably a few more items that we're drilling down in that we didn't last time.
I hope so.
I can't tell you specifically. We asked, this particular question or that particular question last time, and we or this time, and we didn't last time.
What would be the particular question that a coach that anybody would ask a potential coach for what they're doing coming to New Orleans, right? If you're an established coach, like say Mike McCarthy's not going to come out and do a bunch of interviews. He's going to pinpoint teams that he figures that he has the philosophy connection to go and do something with. Ian Rappaport, like I covered it early in the broadcast before we got into the Mickey chatter, was the fact that they talked about McCarthy looking at the Bears and Saints as possibilities to do interviews with them. A lot of people not really excited about that. Some people are, because a lot of people view a guy like McCarthy or a guy like Aaron Glenn as severe upgrades over what we had the last 3.5 years or what we had as the interim coach. Because the thing is, you look at resumes, right? Even though people don't like McCarthy because of what he did in Dallas, he's not going to go into a situation that'll be the same way. And that's why the Saints are attractive to him, because McCarthy knows that he can come here and have free reign, right? That Mickey Loomis is not going to do any evaluating of his coach. If the guy is failing, Mickey Loomis will stand up there and lie for him, even protect him, and even say, just literally lie. He'll lie about the culture of the team. He'll lie about how good the coach is. He'll just sit up and just lie. He'll never admit to failure, just like he did with Dennis Allen. He did not admit to you, even though you know that Dennis Allen is an unmitigated failure. He refuses to take accountability for that bull crap hiring. He will never take responsibility. That's why I don't respect him. The other thing with McCarthy is he knows that he can come here and pretty much run the team how he wants to, because this guy don't care about anything. He'll go disappear in his office. Like the reporters know, he don't even talk to the players. He'll go to his office and disappear. This dude is not a general manager. He's occupying a job and taking a job, but does nothing the real general manager does. He doesn't. He don't know his team. Real GMs, real general managers know the team they're supposed to be generally managing. This guy don't know nothing. He don't know about who's doing what. He don't know who needs to stay, who needs to go. He doesn't know his coaches. He doesn't know anything. He hasn't done anything, and it doesn't intend on doing anything. This guy is lazy and he's unconcerned. That's why he has a bad energy, a bullshit, melancholy energy, and your team 5-10 in the cellar. Or 5 whatever the hell it is, 5-win team. I don't even care. Sitting in the cellar. So my thing is, what I'm looking at is, if you got a coach like McCarthy or even John Gruden, because you're going to be hearing these names coming up next week and the week after that. You're going to be hearing John Gruden eventually. You're going to hear some other guys. We already talked about what Albert Breer put out about the next group of coaches that the Saints are going to talk to, with Cliff Kingsbury. He'll be one of them. And what's his name? Kellen Moore and Joe Brady. You'll be hearing those, but you'll hear more coaches forward. But you, as a team like the Saints, you pay attention to resume, right? You pay attention to resume, and you want somebody that has a resume, but also is a very tricky thing, right? Because you don't want somebody that you picking up at the end of their career with a stale message that's just going to come in and not develop, doesn't have any imagination. Because I watched enough of Cowboy games to know it wasn't just Jerry Jones while they were losing games in Dallas. Mike McCarthy lacked imagination. Many times he lacked a backbone to put his foot down to make sure stuff was happening. He made a lot of bad calls. that cost him games in Dallas. So just because he's flip-flopping from the silver and blue to potentially the black and gold for an interview, don't forget that. People often forget that. Like when they walk away from these teams, oh, they just need to change the scenery and they'll be better. McCarthy's been in the business for a long time. We don't want to get a coach that is on the downturn of his career and the game is starting to pass him by. We want to make sure, even though we like a resume, we want to make sure we get a guy that's young enough and inspiring enough to be able to keep up with the current energy of the NFL and to be able to be an innovator and has some imagination, that has some coaching experience as well. So there are a couple of guys there who we like. I like Aaron Glenn, but I think I'm going to warn y'all about somebody. Pay attention to Cliff Kingsbury. Kingsbury had an opportunity to land somewhere else, and he chose over that to go to Washington to be the offensive coordinator with Jaden Daniels coming to town. He made a chess move, and now he's in a hiring pool looking for a coaching position, and he was a coach before. When he was in college, he was doing some really good stuff. In college, he coached a bunch of really good QBs out of college into the pros. That's what got him into the pros to Arizona. He fizzled there, but he wants to come back because he figures that he made some mistakes and he can bounce back, right? So watch out for that guy. Watch out. But we'll see how it all go, man. We like resume. We like Aaron Glenn, but you can never be too certain with guys like Mickey Loomis, man. You can never be certain, bro. Telling you, because these guys don't have a plan. They don't know what they're doing. And he seems very emotional to me.
I thought it was pretty detailed last time.
What do you have a rough time frame within which you would like to have a new coach? And also, do you anticipate training camp being back here?
Well, the timetable and time frame is dictated in part and mostly by the league policies and rules that we have to adhere to, that we are adhering to. And some of these candidates are still involved in playing games. And so that'll dictate the timing. I'd say it's likely we're going to have training camp here, but that hasn't been made. That decision hasn't been made yet.
Is that something the new coach would have input into?
Yeah, absolutely. How much does a new head coach change or impact, if at all, what you all do scouting-wise when it comes to the draft and everything, prototypes, things like that?
Yeah, look, I think the main thing that you get from that might be different is, look, we want our coaches to define what they want their players to do at each position, and then it's up to our scouts to go find players that can do those things. The prototypes are the prototypes, that's just based upon what's playing in the league. But I think what's more important is, what do our coaches, what's their vision for what they want a particular player to do, and making sure our scouts understand that and are looking for players that do those things.
Going back to the front office, the way that the last 4 years have gone with missing the playoffs and the head coaching turnover, how much personal pressure do you feel to get this next head coach right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel pressure to do that all the time. I felt pressure last time, so that doesn't change. No one wants to win and be successful more than I do. We all do. That's the way
Stop the
everybody in
cap.
the building feels like.
Was there the search ramped up in January after the season, but did you guys use like November, the final few months?
You worn down. Dude, don't care.
Search at all? Like how did that, having that head start time kind of impact?
We look, our focus was on supporting Darren and Rizzy and our coaches and finishing out the season the best way we could. We did some in-house research on different people, but I would say most of our energy was spent on supporting our players and our staff that were playing.
I know there's been just some speculation about what.
To me, energy was spent on them. You didn't do any what research? They're talking about. Energy was the same thing you did for Dennis Allen. You did for Rizzy, there was no difference. You know, the big difference that I seen between the two, what Coach Possum was, he's a weasel, he a backstabbing weasel that has zero leadership ability and was doing reckless stuff to the team. He threw his team under the bus, apologized to the Falcons, had no accountability whatsoever. When guys was failing, he didn't go and pull them out of there. Like, he didn't take these coaches that was doing garbage. Like we seen, like what happened with the offensive line coach. I would have switched that up because we're not seeing the type of improvement that we need to see out of some of those guys. Like you constantly see on tape, week after week, communication issues with the offensive lineman that we have out there. That's coaching. If it's one guy, it's one guy. That's an isolated case. But when you have two or more offensive linemen that not communicating and not knowing what they're supposed to be, that's coaching. So if you're studying the film, and this goes for Rizzy and Coach Possum, then you're supposed to check those guys. And the thing is, too, is there is no, he talking about pressure. That's a lie. He don't feel any pressure. When your boy had 7 straight losing games, Dennis Allen, Mickey Loomis, the question was asked by the reporters to Dennis Allen. Put one in the chat if y'all remember this. They asked Dennis Allen, is he afraid to lose his job? Y'all remember that? Put one in the chat. And that was after the Carolina game. The reporters asked him that in the press conference. He said quickly, no. How could he be so sure of that and not anything else? Because he was being reassured by this idiot on the screen. That's why he did everything that he could do to try to keep Dennis Allen, even try to talk Gail from firing him. And Gail was adamant about firing him. That's the only damn thing she did that was hitting on nothing. The rest of it was garbage. She walked up to the line and backed off. And that won't fly. Because you're not going to get away with this, man. These problems are not going away. And they just don't want to rock the boat monetarily speaking. That's what even though I look at what the Jets got going on and they got issues, the Giants got issues, but at least I could say that the leadership, even with Carolina, when they were firing all their people, the guy was tired of the losing. He was tired of the losing and was doing something to change it and not just sitting up there talking about, I'm overly patient. I'm just overly patient, which is a lie. He's lazy and doesn't give a damn. So I mean that's some first grade BS right there, dude. You can't tell somebody that do this for a living, that know the Saints inside and out, this kind of tripe. It won't work because we know the shit that they don't even know. We know about the players and coaches. That's I could tell y'all about offensive breakdowns with the linemen, miscommunication, even to the point I can give you specifics like this because they talk in generalities. Let me give you this one. I gave this game the last stream when I talked about how the defenses were shifting the lines. They would then they had the Saints timed where right before the snap, they would shift, the defensive line would shift, which would force the offensive line, the Saints offensive linemen, to communicate to figure out who they need to block. And every time they did it, the defensive lineman were able to have success on the Saints because the Saints communication issues between the linemen to figure out who they're going to block because the defensive line done shifted. They didn't even know who they was going to block and end up double blocking one guy, letting the guy go after the quarterback. All that happened. And they did it repetitively from game to game. People would study the tape and say, listen, every time they shift the offensive line on who they got to block, we could take advantage of that. That's a little bit of game of what's going on. You get that when you study film. Not just 1 week, but week after week, 18 weeks worth of studying film during the regular season gives you those tendencies. You be able to see the patterns and the angles. And that's how you can be able to pick up the game inside of the game. So you can't tell somebody that study film, that understand how football is and how to deal with people and all the other stuff around the game, the kind of bullshit that this clown is talking about. You can't tell me that, bro, because none of that makes any sense. And talking like this don't lead to success, because if you don't hire the right guy, you still have to be able to jump in there, step in there, and see if things are going right. He's going to hire the guy and disappear behind the curtain. This is what he does. He pops out, it's a failure. He doesn't admit to anything. Then he goes pop behind the curtain and, hey, it's your team now, buddy. You know, I'm going back here now. It's your team now. And then if the guy struggles, if the guy has issues, Mickey Loomis comes out and they ask him questions. He just lies for him and spins excuses and talks about, hey, we got to be patient. We're not going to panic. Like Demario Davis came out and talk about, you know, we not going to panic. And what was that? The last game of the year or the game before the game, we're not going to panic. What are you talking about, bro? You got one game left at the time and you talking about we're not going to panic. If this ain't the panic, if you're not, where's the urgency? But there ain't no urgency to a bunch of players that's just collecting checks. Ain't no urgency. You get what I'm saying? It's a difference when you got champions that earn their paychecks versus a bunch of check collecting people making excuses so they continue to collect checks. We got to know the difference, and we got to call these people out. It's not just calling out Mickey Loomis. He's the head of the snake, him and Gail. But at the end of the day, they got players that placate the family base. They try to tell you, hey, man, have faith. What are you talking about? Faith without works is dead, Mr. Bible man. That's what I was telling them on the stream when he come with all that other stuff. What does that have to do with you missing tackles? What does that have to do with you misreading defensive plays? What does that have to do with your offensive linemen missing blocks and not knowing their playbooks? What does that have to do with guys dropping passes? What does that have to do with people throwing interceptions? What does that have to do with missed kicks? What does that have to do with poor punts and coverages? What does that have to do with any of that stuff? Faith without works is dead. So sitting up here telling you just have blind faith is BS, is what it is. Any person knows faith without works is dead. You have to put in work, real work, to be able to change the result. I'm talking facts. That's facts. But people telling you otherwise, they placating you so they can collect a check. It's time for all that to stop. All that, you got away with that stuff for a long time, but a lot of people, we got to call these people out, these players out. Because all it is just them collecting direct deposits after every game. And that's how they want to keep it going. They're not mad they missed the playoffs. You don't see any anger in these players. You don't see any anger in the owner. You don't see any anger in Lauscha. You don't see any anger in Mickey Loomis. He's sitting up here smiling through the press conference and his team a 5-win team. Where's the anger at? It's with you and me. The players aren't upset, are they? You see up saying, see Cam at that talk show. Was Cam upset? Hell no, he wasn't upset. He got paid. Let's keep it 100. Let's keep it all the way 100, because we got to keep it there, because any other thing, man, is some BS, man. And these people will keep making money off of you forever if you don't check them. He sit up here and let it slip. One of the grander things he said, Freudianly wise, was he talked about one of the disadvantages of the family or friend. He fans, I don't call y'all that, but he says one of the disadvantages of the fans is, they're overly passionate. No, it's not it's not overly passionate. That's not what it is at all. It's accountability, man. It's accountability. It had nothing to do with over passion. Over passion, you know what that looks like? That's Darren Rizzi. Oh, my whole life just so loud, just love the players. You know what? I just love the players. It looks they did phenomenal effort. They was back there missing tackles, dropping passes, but they did phenomenal effort. That's overly passionate. Just dumb passion with no intelligence. What we have is accountability. We're not giving hard-earned money to you to fail year after year. That's a good business proposition, that if you want the money, you're going to have to put a better product out here. That's what we're talking about. And putting players or signing players who just collecting checks and they're not out here performing, that ain't going to fly. Not going to just put good money after bad. We don't do that. Where they do that at? These people don't care, man. And I'm just what he said. What was his word? I'm overly patient. No. You're not overly patient anything. You're lazy. That's what that is. Not knowing how you got a general manager that don't know his own team. Family, come on, man.
Whether or not the organization wants
I
to,
don't even
like,
know his own team.
completely move on from the entire Sean Payton era. Is that anything the organization prescribes to, like where you just kind of want to?
I'm not sure what that means because
you know what that means. Stop
Sean
playing
to
dumb.
Dennis, and and it's been kind of the same sort of staff vision in place for the last 20 years around here.
Come on.
Yeah, I don't know that I would agree with that. I mean, I understand the connection between Sean and Dennis, but we had a lot of different staff, changes, coaching changes.
You know what that man was saying, Mickey?
Two of the most successful turnarounds in recent times are Detroit
and you missed on him and you let him go. The whole thing is Detroit and Denver. What does that got to do with the Saints that both coaches came from here? Number one, Campbell should have been Dennis Allen. He let him go. And number two, if they would have drafted better, which means Mickey Loomis would have had more insight or vision about the future of the team. The Saints had several times during the years to pick up a success, future option, I said like that, at the quarterback position that could have been groomed underneath Drew Brees, and he elected not to do that. I often said that if the Saints landed one of those quarterbacks, that Sean Payton would still be here. Think about it. Sean Payton wouldn't have went anywhere if you still had a decent option. And even if he had went somewhere, we would have still been able to have a decent quarterback option that can carry the team into the future. What team keeps a quarterback here till he's almost 40 years old and don't have a bona fide replacement for him? This was something we talked about ad nauseam at the time because we knew how the NFL was. It is very rare that you have a quarterback that'll do that, that'll play almost into their 40s. That was Tom Brady and Drew Brees. But at some point, you have to be able to have a replacement in play because you got the guy. And plus, Drew Brees kept breaking down medically. Within the last 4 years, he was in and out of the lineup with various injuries. Drew was hurt off and on because he was getting old. It was a physical game. Guys was crushing him up. Remember the guy, what's his name? The big defensive tackle. We had him here for a little bit. He fell on top of Drew and crushed him. Y'all remember? Y'all remember that? Broke them all up. I think that guy, matter of fact, that guy beat Cesar Ruiz, matter of fact, that year to do it, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all remember that? Because Sean Payton took a rookie offensive lineman who was a center and tried to turn him into the guard. The guy got beat bad and Drew all crushed up. And I said prior to the year, it's like, don't do that to Drew because he can't move anyway. You don't want to tamper with the line and put a rookie in there because if the guy get beat, Drew can't get out of harm's way. And that's exactly what had happened. Not hard to tell. I mean, you just got to understand how things work. But both Campbell and Payton is gone. And the reality is this guy trapped in the time warp. That's why we need somebody else making the calls on it because there are a lot of really good coaches out there that's not affixed to Sean Payton that you can bring in here to have an innovative system that can work, that are young enough and innovative enough, because that's a big part of it too. We don't want to get a coach so old that they can't innovate. We want to be able to get a guy that has some imagination, that know how to talk to people, that can be innovative and imaginative, to be able to move the offense around, because that's what it really, the problem is with the Saints has been. We have not been consistently offensively consistent and thorough enough to be able to scare anybody. And I've said it before, they don't have a counter punch. When you punch the Saints in their face like they did with the last several games where the Saints couldn't even put together 4 games. And even after weeks 1 and 2, when the Saints blew the teams off the map, when Philly came in, they studied the tape and put the Saints to bed. That started a 7-game losing streak that ran Dennis Allen off. Why? Because each team the Saints was playing was studying the film on how to defeat the Saints. Saints could not overcount that. They could not discount that. They could not come up with an alternative plan to be able to consistently drive the offense because the league had found them out after 2 games. That's what happened. Well, how did they go from tearing up the league to 3, 4, 5, and then end up with 5 wins? It's because the NFL found them out and the Saints had no plan B. They had no counterattack. They had no counter punch. When somebody hits you and they figure out how your favorite punch is, you got to go with something else. You got to adjust. The Saints had no adjustments, and that's why they fell through the flow. You're going to talk about injuries. The Saints did not have any alternative plan to overcome that. And that's how it is. That's life in the NFL. You have to be able to constantly innovate and evolve. If you can't do that, you're a dead team that's going to lose. So we need to have a person that's looking at coaches that understand that concept, and you're limiting yourself to saying, hey, man, we're going to fixate in on guys because they used to be here. That's insane. It's crazy, man.
Well, both of those staffs are pretty well connected to New Orleans.
Kentavia Street. There you go.
So,
Thank you,
you
Darwin.
know, I'm not sure what the criticism would be about, or understand what the, those are successful programs, right? That had a lot of basis here. So I'm not sure what that means necessarily.
No people tearing up the league. You ain't
the best
doing
candidate we can get, whether they have a history with us or not.
What have your conversations with Gail Benson been like? And how could you speak to where she stands right now in the state of affairs?
Well, I mean, she's like the rest of us, disappointed, frustrated. Wants the team to be successful. So she's been nothing but supportive and encouraging, and able to provide as many resources as we need to get the best coach we can get. So
Do y'all believe that? Do y'all believe Gail Benson is all the things that he say? Let me hear what you guys got to say in the chat about that. Y'all let me know. Do you believe that line about Gail Benson being hurt and upset that the Saints are losing? So hurt and upset that she still turned the team over to the dude that was responsible for the losing? Do y'all believe that? Let me hear what you got to say. Chantel says, Q, Mickey doing interviews to look good. I wouldn't doubt he hires Darren Rizzi as the whole head coach. I wouldn't put that past him. I would not put it past him at all, man. I do not want Darren Rizzi as the head coach of this team because he doesn't have what it needs to take this team into the future. He doesn't. Darren Rizzi is not a head coach, man. He's not. Dennis Allen wasn't a damn head coach, and that's the craziest part, that you put Rizzi, and Rizzi, only thing he has on Dennis Allen is he's passionate, but at the same time, he placates losing. He don't know what the hell he's doing on the offensive side of the ball. He doesn't hold everybody accountable. He can bitch at these special teams guys, but he don't tell them guys when they're missing tackles, not knowing their assignments on defense, blocking assignments on offense, all this kind of stuff. He don't tell them nothing. So no, the hell with Darren Rizzi. We don't need him here. He is not a head coach. We don't need Darren Rizzi. Thank you for that. Appreciate you.
I want to say thank you
The hell with
very
Darren Rizzi.
much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Shout out to Anthony, man. Thank you for that super sticker, Anthony. Appreciate you,
Say
man. Appreciate you.
thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Yes, indeed. I don't believe nothing he says about Gail Benson. Gail Benson is getting paid. If Gail Benson was really as upset as he would indicate, Gail would have done something that she hadn't done before, which is to step in and hire somebody else or force a change. If she knows the president of the football team doesn't know about football on the field, the guy's just a businessman sitting up there trying to create sponsorships deal with companies, then she hire an advisor to come in and look things over, do something that you ain't been doing before. She didn't do anything. She turned the keys to the bus over to this guy. So, like I said, these people are absolutely out of it. I mean, they just, all they care about, they don't give a damn about that. The only people that is really upset is the support base. The support base is upset because, unlike the players, you hear they're the rival teams or the other teams' support bases talking shit about their squad, right? And they wear that. But these assholes don't care about none of that, man. They don't care about none of that. They all getting paid, and that's what the Saints are designed for. The Saints are designed as a business to draw up as much money as they can, and they've been doing it despite the fact that they are not winning anything. They hadn't won a Super Bowl in years, but yet they still living off the rep of a Super Bowl that's long past. They're not even trying to win another one. They're not even trying to compete with the likes of the Kansas City Chiefs or anybody else for that matter, who or the Houston Texans or nobody. The Texans don't even have one, but you can see by the motions and movements that they're doing that they saying, man, we want to be a championship team here. We want to do some shit. We want to compete and be one of the top 5 best teams in the NFL. We want to compete. This team is not anything consistent with a champion. All they are about is making money. Like I keep saying, the Oshner Health bullshit he's sitting in front of right now. Team littered and loaded with injuries, according to him and the Pelicans, and they still signing deals with these health people. Isn't that showing you everything you need to know? How you worried about injuries and trying to get to the bottom of it, but you still signing on with Oshner Hospital and the health system that they got. It doesn't work for your teams, obviously. But they don't care. They keep doing it because it's all about money. So if it's all about money, let's take that stance. If it's all about money to them, let it be all about money to you. Let them give their asses the energy that they're giving you, is what I'm saying. Anything else than that is stupid. You're playing yourself. If you give these people the same energy that they're giving you, if it's all about money, and it's all about money with these people, they're not doing anything different. They're not changing the leadership, despite the fact that she was supposed to, and she get up to the line and then walk back and go and cash a check. Then let them feel that, because that's what got Dennis Allen fired. Let them feel that. Let them feel it. Don't you dare get them people your money until they can prove to you that they can win some shit. And don't give your money to them after 2 weeks of 2-0. Don't commit to them. You make their asses wait like they made you wait 4 years. You make them wait. That's how this go. If it's all about the money, they need to get the money from you. Then let's play that money game then, if that's what y'all was about. Because I shouldn't even have to do this, man. I shouldn't even have to sit here and promote to the support base to hold their money because the team's so stupid and greedy that they don't want to do the right thing as a winning organization. They don't want to hire any real leadership or make any shakeups, and the team falling through the floor. Got this idiot sitting up here calm and smug talking about, we're going to hire you, we're going to do what we got to do. We're a good team. We're an appealing team. There's only 30 of other teams. Yeah, you go get somebody that don't know shit about football like you did Dennis Allen, but ain't no credible coach gonna want to come here if the environment is not conducive for him to have success. It's not gonna work. You're not gonna get a guy that's gonna come here that's respectable. You know, it's not gonna happen. You get $60 million in the red. This guy is responsible for it. You got a quarterback that you can't get rid of, that you're gonna have to pick through the flow. So you got a quarterback that they're gonna have to rock with, that he's going to force you to keep because he don't want to lose him. He's gonna meddle in that. Well, Derek Carr, that's my guy. Can I tell y'all, man? This, you think it's just me? I'm telling you,
she's a big positive when the question comes up about why is this job attractive.
Following up on Luke's question, when you look back in hindsight, I mean, do you wish the last time you had a coaching search there was more? I mean, it made sense at the time, but obviously you said things like, we don't have a problem with our culture here. We're happy with how things are going. This isn't like firing a coach and trying to change everything. Do you wish there had maybe been more of a significant break or change at that time?
I think if anything, maybe I underestimated a couple of different items. I don't want to get into the detail of that.
Talk about them.
I think I could have probably done a better job supporting Dennis in a few areas. But I don't want to get specific as to what those are.
Because it's bullshit. Support Dennis. I think you've been supporting Dennis enough. I don't think the problem was supporting Dennis Loomis. Because even when he was fired, you didn't want to do that. You still apologetic for him, even in this press conference. It's some bullshit, man. And you know what? I'm gonna just stop it on that, because that's I done reached my bullshit meter for the night, and that's enough on that. We're just gonna end up by playing this, and this music is dedicated to Mickey Loomis, because he's a clown, and he needs to be in the circus. Let's put some damn paint on his face. Oh man. This is crazy, man. This guy has no answers. That's a joke, man. It's these people are morons and idiots, man. That's only one way you can teach them. You won't teach y'all won't play. Y'all won't play games. We can play. You're gonna see some shit, man. Boy, I tell you, man. Team five win team in the cellar of the NFC South. There's no upsetness. There's no anger. Do these people look like they're angry? Do they look like they're upset? These people not upset about nothing, man. Gail, she's upset and disappointed. Man, get out of here, man. Gail Benson is not upset at all. She just the same energy as Mickey Loomis. So is Dennis Lauscher. And you know what, fam, is our fault. It's many of the Who Dat Nation's fault for putting up with this as long as we've been putting up with this. Because these people have got big, fat, and greedy, and we let them do it. We sit up here and we made excuses for them 4 years about this, that, and the third. If we had put these people feet to the fire 10 plus years ago, I've been trying to do it. I've really been putting my part in. I really have, fam. I've been cooking these people for over a decade. I've been cooking them. Pumping the message consistently. I've been trying to let people know that these people have been sliding off the cliff, lying, just straight up bullshitting the support base, taking taxpayer money, they spent what, over $250,000 to complete the renovations on the Superdomes, the taxpayer money to put windows and shit in the roof of the dome, and then sit up there and add more concession stands for the $20-something. That's $20 nacho. It's over that when you put the taxes on it and all that expensive shit in there, the marked up merchandise in the concessions, the parking revenue. You don't get a deal for anything. These people absolutely bank out on us, and we have not done nearly what we need to do to get these people to check these people on this, man. To check their asses on this. We haven't done none of that. This is an absolute embarrassment. Look at this dude sitting up here laughing, and it's a 5-win team underneath the Panthers. Underneath the Carolina Panthers. And this dude sitting up here sniggling and giggling. Like this is some good shit to be talking about. Maul says, Q, I'm embarrassed to be a Saint. Yeah, I got you, brother. I am too. This is ridiculous, man. This guy sitting up here sniggling and giggling, bro. Like we did the world best stuff. The Saints are embarking on a 4th year of 9 playoffs. The team then went backwards to the point where they were 9 wins last year and went from 9 to 5. And this asshole up here sniggling and giggling. I don't know what to tell y'all, man. Thank you, Marlon.
Thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Up here sniggling and giggling. This is ridiculous, man. No evaluations. Don't know who deserved to be fired. None of this is going on. No direction. Fam, listen, no evaluations mean they don't even have a plan. They don't have a plan at all. They don't have a plan. He's sitting up here just prattling off stuff that's incorrect. He doesn't have any answers. He doesn't have anything. Then a lot of this falls back on the mighty Who Dat Nation. We were too chummy with these people for far too long. Too chummy. It's the same stuff that happened like when you don't check the politicians. They just get more corrupt and more corrupt. The next thing you know, they voting themselves raises. Next thing you know, they got 100% health care and you got to pay for your shit. Next thing they know, they got all this other power where they can do this, that, and the third. And you like, where did that happen? Because you left them unchecked. Same thing with the security apparatus. You thinking they telling you, hey, we building up all this shit here so we can listen to these people over here, but then they turn it on you because they're unchecked and unaccountable. Same stuff over and again. We can't let this happen, keep happening, man. Even with the football team on a smaller scale, but nonetheless, accountability is a universal thing. This is insane, man. $13 beer, yeah. $13 beer. These people are making tens of billions of dollars off the base, and they haven't won a Super Bowl in years. They've went backwards and got players coming out telling you to have faith without any works. Supposed to be biblical people, supposed to be God people telling you that, but collecting a check. Come out making excuses for failure. And there's nobody upset except for you. Look at this idiot up here. Does he look mad? None of these people are upset. It's time for us to get a reality check, man. We really do. Man. I don't know what to say about this one. This was, I've done, I don't know how many interviews over the years. I mean, hundreds, if not thousands. And this is by far one of the worst situations that I've seen this team been under. They are absolutely gone. This guy had a whole press conference and it took no accountability for why the team is a 5-win team. And what he said, let's just say this. If you listen to the shows leading up to this, I said when they finally do this show, his end of the season presser, all he going to sit up here and talk about injuries. That's what he did, exactly what I said he was going to do, because that's all they have. They have no accountability. They don't believe in accountability. He called you being upset about failure of your team as being overpassionate. That's how this dude classified it. It's not overpassion, it's accountability. We believe in, if you are being paid a cost or you're being given money, you need to step up and do the best and make sure that you hold the guy below you accountable for the losing. The Saints have no accountability. Dennis Allen left out of here and said he didn't fail. I played that early in the week. He said that I didn't fail. They just wanted somebody else. This guy took zero accountability for anything. While the Saints went from 9 wins to 5 wins in the laughing stock in the cellar, took zero accountability of anything. Had no answers or why the team failed except for injuries, which is a lie. So at the end of the day, man, I don't know what to tell you, fam. I don't know how as a team we even get out of these straits, to be honest with you, because this is no leadership. What's to stop this moron from hiring another Dennis Allen? I don't know. And even if you hire another coach, you can't have the coach to come in and say, hey, coach, we need to be more accountable and start from the coach level down. It has to trickle from the ownership down. Those guys still have to be monitored, is what I'm saying. When you bring somebody in, you just can't have an infinite amount of leeway to do whatever you want to do. There has to be checking going on. There has to be evaluating of job going on from time frame. You know, you got time frames when you check in here, that, and the third, and you checking to make sure this happened and that happens. This guy doesn't have a clue. He let Dennis Allen ruin this team. He let Dennis Allen destroy this team. And then he sits up here and says that he don't regret nothing that he says in the press conference last year when he got up there chewing that gum, comparing Dennis Allen to Bill Belichick and Tom and Bill Walsh and all those Hall of Fame coaches, and he's sitting up and this possum is on the goddamn street fired. But he doesn't apologize for none of that. Man, I don't know what you do. I don't know what they're gonna do. I can't make listen, when accountability don't live in your house, man, anything can fucking happen. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Anything. If you don't have checks and balances in your house or in your relationships, anything can happen. Anything can happen and will happen. That's when you have morals. That's when you have regulations, rules, and guidelines, part of the accountability thing. If you don't have that in your life, then you don't have nothing. Without structure, you cannot be successful. Without structure and accountability, you can't get to the higher levels of success in your life. Without structure and accountability, it doesn't work that way. You need those things like you need air and everything else, water and food to eat. So I don't know what to tell you about these people. I'm sorry. I am absolutely flabbergasted from what I heard, and I really don't want to hear the rest of it. That's why I muted it down, because he's not going to teach you anything or say anything that's going to give you any guidance about what they're going to do. Even if you hire a coach, you still have to be accountable to what he's doing. And what this idiot is going to do is hire somebody and then start immediately spinning excuses for failure right out the door. Because these people don't care about winning. All they care about is money. And that's the message. That's the message for tonight's show. So that's what I got for y'all today. But anyway, let me go through a few comments and I'm going to get on up out of here. I done had enough of this crap. Listen, I'm done on this shit tonight. Y'all got questions, throw them in the chat. I know y'all been talking, man. I've been missing paying attention to this idiot, getting stupider and dumber. Listen to his tripe and garbage. But if y'all got anything, quickly throw it in the chat. I'm about to end the stream momentarily. Jack said, started from the top. Now we down. Yes. Back down. 9 wins, 7 wins, 9 wins, 5 wins. You're going backwards. And he anticipate the Saints to make the jump next year back to respectability. Family, listen, let me tell y'all something. This is something also that people need to be quite aware of, is that the timeline, and I'm going to say it again because I've been saying this for the last several years, the timeline that they talked about with these contracts was based upon what happened with the Saints, from that point with the contracts forward. Well, you about to get ready to get to the back end of the contracts, the timeline with these contracts, which means these players, these older players are going to get slower and slower, and they're going to have, they less and less impact. The Saints have not drafted well. There's a limit on what you can do with undrafted guys and all this kind of stuff. There's still there's 60 million in the red. Mickey Loomis is not, despite what he was saying, I don't think that they're going to trade Derek Carr or any of this garbage. That's not going to happen. Whoever he hires, the guy is going to get the job if he accepts Carr as a quarterback. Don't listen to what this lying ass dude talking about. He don't want to get rid of Carr. So whoever he gets has got to be a pro Carr guy right out the gate. You get me? The guy, whoever it is, they're not going to have a ton of money to work with to improve the team through free agency. So they're going to have to use young players. And guess what? Like Bill Parcells says that, if you got a rookie, you got a loss, because the rookies got to learn. You can't be counting on the rookies to be able to do some fantastic stuff, to be able to, you know what I'm saying? That just don't happen. So if you got younger players, is why he traded to get all those draft picks, because he understands and knows that the Saints cannot compete in free agency with other teams that got their money straight. For veterans that's ready to win right now. So he knows that it's ridiculous within its face. He understands and knows that. So what you getting right now is only going to teeter off. It's going to teeter off because into a total rebuild once everything falls out of here. And when 26 hits, it's the back end of it. And then 27, you got a whole new team. You'll be the new Carolina Panthers, not the team that you're seeing now, but the team that they were 2 years ago or last year. So because a lot of these guys are going to be gone, and they don't have any replacements for them, or no legit philosophy. So yeah, it's five wins is systemic of what you're going to see over the next couple of years. It's going to be some difficulty here. You might see you might see some pretty rough times happening because the winning was supposed to happen over the last 4 years, and they could not do anything with it. They let Dennis Allen destroy that time frame, and now with these old ass players here and the inability to compete in free agency for ready veterans, they're gonna have to compete with young people, and that just going to stall your development. And that's based on the Saints' ability to be able to get these young players up the code. So that's a whole nother thing. So like I said, I'm not trying to paint a dark picture, but what I'm saying, I didn't paint this goddamn picture. I didn't have nothing to do with this picture. All I'm saying is I'm pointing up at the galley and saying, listen, man, I know what the guy used, what kind of paint he used. I know what kind of canvas that is. I even know who the guy is. You know what I'm saying? His neighbor is this guy. That's me. I'm just a mere observer of here. But this is the garbage that these people put together. And we'll see how it all works, man. We'll see how it all works, man. But in the end, man, it's some rough times ahead for the Saints organization, man. They completely done blew this 4-year window. They completely destroyed it and blew it and took no accountability for it. Isn't that something? T. Dirty says, Sweat put barbecue sauce on them ribs. English says he talks like a dishonest old crook. Darwin says, I saw his ESPN article that Saints will make organization changes after the coach is hired. I don't believe that at all, bro. That's some BS of epic proportion. That don't even make sense if you think about it. You're supposed to make the organizational changes prior to the head coaching, the head coach coming in. And the organizational changes that you want to see that their references is tied to the coaching staff. It had nothing to do with the administrative level, which is what we're alluding to. He already said in this interview, that's the one honest thing that he did say, there will be no administrative changes. He didn't use administrative, but he said at that level, because people asked him about him stepping down as the general manager. He says, no, I can still do, whatever. So, I mean, no, I don't believe that at all. You mean shaking up the coaching staff. That's what I think that recommends to. I don't think it, because that don't make any sense. You could have been done that already if that was the case. Mad Drummer says we can't keep going through this. Oh, trust me, brother, it's coming. It's coming. I mean, it's just what it is. It's what it is. The man destroyed the team. I didn't do it. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at this dumbass up here. This guy destroyed the team. He got him in 60 million in the red. He saddled you with a quarterback that keeps getting hurt every year. You don't have a thorough running game. Your offensive line is up and down and back ass. The defense can't stop a nosebleed. And what can I tell you, man? I didn't do it. All right. Mickey Loomis finger point. Yeah, it's crazy, man. All right. Shout out to you, Raylan. Good to see you, baby. Appreciate you for being here. Thank you for your support. Much love to you too. South Slim, what's up? Slim said they might bring back Rizzy, who wants to. Lord help us, man. That guy's not a head coach, fam. We got 2 non-head coaches going to be coaches. I would rather go with some of them other guys, man. I would rather go with an offensive-minded guy if that's the case. If I can't get Aaron Glenn. Can we even talk to Pete Carroll? Pete Carroll would come in here. Pete Carroll wants to be an NFL head coach again. Can we talk to Pete Carroll? Pete Carroll at one time was one of the top 5, top 10 best coaches in the NFL. Now, there could be a possibility the game could turn them, pass them by, but wouldn't that be, a smarter person to kind of just at least interview to pick his mind? Because at least I know Pete Carroll is a part of winning. He won everywhere he went. He got a no-nonsense approach. He understands offensive principles, and at the very least, he could set the culture right? At least he would bring that culture here. Why not talk to Pete Carroll? I don't understand, because this guy knows that Pete Carroll ain't gonna go for the bullshit that he pumping. So that's just amazing to me, man. He's supposed to come. This guy came from out there in Seattle. I think he's from Washington State. That's where this idiot's from, I want to say. Marley says, Darwin says, I'm hoping and praying, Q. We're going to see what happens, fam. We're going to be covering it. Marley says, How does Mickey think this is going to turn around quick with no money? I mean, he's just saying stuff, bro. He don't have anything to go along with that. He don't have anything. He doesn't have any proof or evidence or anything. He's just talking nonsense. He's just talking nonsense. The Saints are $60 million in the red. And it ain't just easy. It's like, I don't see this as an issue. He said that. And this is progress. 60 million in the red is progress based on his effed up logic, because 2 years ago, the Saints were $100 million in the red, then 80 something million. So in that messed up logic, I guess we have been cap desensitized, because I don't think I ever known a team outside of Saints to be $100 million in the red, fam. And whatever you do this year to get down from the 60 million will impact what you got going on in 26. That's why I was saying that it don't just hurt you this year, it's going to hurt you next year. And based on what they do with Derek Carr, that's the big question. Derek Carr single-handedly has the largest annual hit for the Saints this season. Large hit. They're going to restructure everybody else's, but his situation, he doesn't want to take a pay cut. He said he'll take a restructure, which would basically vie you and tie you to him in 2026. So as opposed to you getting from up under him, you would then be trapped with him for this year and next year if they rework or restructure his deal. You can thank Mickey Loomis for that, because he could have told Dennis Allen, we can't afford that guy. But this idiot said yes, he greenlined him. So, I mean, it takes no responsibility. It's one thing if you could say you made a mistake and say, listen, we're going to get better. But a whole nother thing to not take any accountability and sit up here smug as this guy is, and you're a 5-win team with a $60 million cap, not hitting on the draft. And, you know, how you going to use young players, rookies, to get you back into the playoffs? You can't compete in free agency. You got to use cheap veterans, undrafted guys, and draft picks to try to compensate whatever you think you need. And the Saints need a lot of stuff, family. They need a lot of stuff to get back to responsibility, to get back to winning. You know, so the guy just saying stuff. Mad Drummer said the easy thing you can do is the lazy thing you can do. It's indeed. Jay Rideout says our end to this madness is Gail. Please step. I want Gail to sell the team. At first, I was giving Gail some grace because she made the move to force Dennis Allen out. But Gail Benson she's not a good owner because she is lazy. She over relies on guys too much. And the team, you got to look at the results. Forget what Mickey Loomis is saying. That's bull crap. That's con man talk. Look beyond the logic. Look beyond the numbers. The numbers is the Saints are a 5-win team that's old, 60 million in the red, and he's sitting up here talking about they're going to be fine. This guy is absolutely out of his mind, just like his dumb possum face head coach that he had here before, talking about he's a great coach. I mean, it's just insane, man. It's insane. Darwin says he would be good. Desi, what's up, Desi, baby? She said, if they hire Rizzy, I won't watch. Bro, listen, you know what, Desi, listen, man, people's like, Q, what's up with the Rizzy thing? Fam, I seen enough of Rizzy, man. People was joking with me and during the live stream saying, Q, that guy is a passionate Dennis Allen. The guy knows shit about offense. He sits up here and he placate. He don't get on those players when they make mistakes. He sit up here and he lies on film. I've covered it and talked about it before. When people are getting it handed to him on tape, he's sitting up here talking about they gave phenomenal effort. And then people getting pushed down on tape. They get knocked down on their asses. They dropping passes. And that's phenomenal effort. That guy's not head coach material in my book. I'm sorry, he's not. We can do a lot better than what we've seen from him. Because unbridled passion and all this stuff don't mean nothing if it don't come with no intelligence. That shit don't mean nothing if it don't have a high degree of intelligence. Passion without intelligence that just means you like the Joker. You just crazy, crazy as hell, man. No, we good on that, bro. Rizzy can go up there with the Jets or wherever the hell he come from. He can go to hell with that, man. We don't need no Rizzy around here, dog. He had his chance. He blew it. We need accountability. You don't placate these players when they doing wrong, man. Chantel says, Q, you like all of the candidates they've interviewed, pick the top one if you like out of all the candidates. I mean, the ones that they've interviewed so far, because they only interviewed, 3 or 4 of them? Maybe 3 of them. Aaron Glenn is by far probably the best candidate that they've interviewed so far. He would be a respectable hire if he chooses the Saints, but it's still a reclamation project. I mean, I wouldn't be anticipating the man come here and turn him around. This Mickey Loomis saying this, we can turn him around. No, because when a D'Amico Ryans or when Campbell went to Detroit, see, these are the things that we talk about. He can talk about Sean Payton and Matt Campbell all he wants, but this is a half-truth ass guy. You can't talk that crap to people that know what time it is, that know the situations around what happened with them having growth and winning in those areas. Detroit, Matt Campbell went there and he had resources. Matt Campbell had the ability to draft, and he had the ability to use to be able to use money to be able to bring players in as well. So he had money. Detroit had money to go to free agency and bring whoever players they wanted. They also did a good job of drafting and developing the talent that they drafted. And that's how they were able to do it. And they had some good players already on the team. They needed leadership, a no-nonsense coach that know how to talk to people, who know how to pick the right people. And that guy went there and they did that. They have several teams right now that's struggling, reason why they're struggling is because they're lacking a strong leader who knows what to look at. Like you have a guy like Campbell. He will work in several situations of teams that's fumbling and stumbling right now. Matt Campbell can go to Jacksonville and turn them around. He can go to Dallas. Imagine if Matt Campbell went to Dallas, how far along Dallas would be. Dallas would literally be what Detroit is right now if Campbell went there. Because if you have a coach like Matt Campbell or like Sean Payton and they have access to money and draft picks, they can be able to do some stuff. You know, they can be able to move around, make trades, do stuff. And when Sean Payton went there, he traded out Russell Wilson. That cost him a ton to move Russell Wilson out of there. But the guy picked up on Bo Nix. He developed Bo Nix. They got into the playoffs. Bo Nix will be better next year. But that's still a very powerful accomplishment for you to bring in a rookie quarterback, no matter how experienced he was from college, and then take this rookie quarterback, lead your team to the playoffs in Sean Payton's second year. You know, they had access to money. They had some draft capital too. The first year when Sean was down there, they didn't. That's why Mickey Loomis was sending picks along with Sean Payton to Denver to help him draft at your leisure, at your issue, because we didn't have to send that pick out there along with Detroit. I mean, to Denver. Denver wasn't asking for picks. They just wanted Sean Payton straight up. And the Saints package, Mickey Loomis packaged the 3rd round pick and sent it out there with Sean Payton. And I was like, why did they do that? Because they wasn't asking. The report said, man, all they wanted was Payton for picks. Mickey Loomis sent that 3rd round selection out there to help him. And now we have to trade Lattimore for picks. So, I mean, and this happened a couple of years ago, but it's just how stupid and wretched that you are as a general manager to do something that ridiculous when you need all draft assets. You did him a favor by sending him where he wanted to go. That's all you needed to do. You know, but nobody questioned that. But I see all that, man. So at the end of the day, he can sit up here and talk about Matt Campbell and Sean Payton all he want, going to different spots and having success. That's a different environment than what we have here. The Saints don't have any money. They will have to work, they have to work from 60 million from red into black, like to get to the line. They got to go 60 million to the line and it's zero, then dig further into the black and have a surplus to be able to sign people. How much of that is going to be they'll have to sign people, and what do they have to do with who to get there? That's the questions. Ask this bum. It's just insane, man. Like I said, man, I look at it all, and there's no way around it because you can't wrestle and talk about they're going to make a leap and all this kind of stuff. And still in all, you need to have accountability. Just in case you hire a coach, what if the guy starts screwing around and messing around? What you going to do? He ain't going to do nothing. He did just like what the guy was saying. Come on, Mickey. Remember the video I always play when I show it? Come on, Mickey. You got to make a move tonight, Mickey. Remember that? The guy sitting up there at the suite level with Mickey Loomis, watching the game, them losing and Mickey Loomis not doing nothing. He didn't do anything. He never does anything except just come out with a bunch of excuses for his coach and lie all the time about it and take zero accountability. So I don't know what you do with that, fam. That's the real reason why the Saints are failures, because overall you've had the talent, but there's no winning going to happen in the team that don't even believe in accountability. don't even take don't even take credit or blame rather for the mistakes that they make. Don't take any blame for it. They just disappear and lie and spin lies about stuff. So I mean, I don't know what to say about that. I'm kind of done. What I say, Dan Campbell. I always say Matt Campbell. I'm sorry, y'all. It's Dan Campbell. All right. I don't know. Always say his brother. I don't know. I'm sorry about that. English says that's right. Q, sell a damn team. She has to sell it, bro. I'm done with giving Gail grace because she's festering all of this stuff. She got a bunch of idiots running around here, and she's not hiring in the people. They're not, at the very least, just take the general manager job away from Mickey Loomis. He's old and he doesn't have any vision or any imagination. He don't know what he's doing. Maybe at one time he did, but obviously right now the Dennis Allen hire was so egregious. You just wanted, she turned it right on over to him. So you got to go too. And the reporters, shout out to Scott Kushner, and several of the beat writers are really hitting home with it. At first, they wouldn't go to it. They wouldn't even touch that. They wouldn't even go to it. But now, man, the environment has changed, man, because we've been putting it on, man. We was talking about this stuff when it wasn't popular to do it. We wasn't talking, they wasn't talking like that. Now the environment has changed because we done forced it there. We done moved what they call the Overton window. We done moved it to where it needs to be. So I'm just proud to be there. Right outside, I didn't watch this year. I just follow Q's show, not watching until I see the Saints being serious. Thank you, Jay. Right, I appreciate you. Dog says, who that fan? We should get John Garden as a head coach. All right. Thank you for that, bro. All right. Marley says, Q, the only thing I'm worried about is if Gail sells the team, the new owner might move the Saints out the city. They can't do that. They got contracts locking the Saints to the city. It's the same as the Pelicans. That's a part of her plan that she had with the NBA and the NFL that locks the teams to the city, so they cannot move the team. So people are worrying about that. Put your fears to bed. They're contractually locked into the city. Kevin says Saints are old and slow, time to change up. We need a creative, innovative offense and stop the run on defense. It's not complicated, bro. We just need the right people, right? That's a big part of it. All right, Slim says an organization that has to use coupons. Yes, indeed. Jack says turn salary into bonus or guaranteed money and kick the can for few. That's the game plan, bro. The answer is, how do you make it out of a $60 million hole if you're in all the Saints? Think about this. Let's put your GM hats on right now. I challenge you. Challenge to you. Faithful. Challenge to you. General manager hats on. Answer this in the chat right now. How do you fix a $60 million in the red situation for the Saints and get back to being solvent again or in the black? What do you do? What do you do? We're not talking about future. We're talking about this year only. How do you fix it? Let's hear what you got to say. We'll do that and we'll leave. Drummer says, what if whoever buys it wants to move the team? I just talked about that. All right. Jack says Gail is listening to too many people. She just needs to click onto the show and pop off and show them. Yeah, it's I've lost faith with Gail Benson, man, because it's quite obvious what's going on right here. It's a lack of leadership. She's just using the team to make money. That's just what it is. And I can't respect that, especially when the teams are failing. I'm talking teams, Saints and Pelicans are both major league jokes. The Pelicans got a coach that should have been fired 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, but he's still coaching the team. You got a guy there that shouldn't be the VP. They hire these guys. They don't check them. They can mess up, screw up, do all kind of stuff. Don't face any accountability. All of that. They don't face no accountability. They can screw up and waste time to their heart content. And that's the problem I have. How are you able to sit there in perpetuity and just screw up infinitely and not get challenged by the people in the organization? Because ain't nobody, they hire these guys and there's no oversight. There's literally no oversight of this guy Loomis or David Griffin with the Pelicans. There is no oversight. You can't hire people and just not have any oversight. If they make bad decisions, they must pay for that. There is no oversight. They just tear up the team and lie about it, or just don't be. It's just, I can't get around that, man. Who that to that says if they sell the Saints, do the cap go with them? Yes, the cap does go with them, brother. Yeah, it does follow them. It doesn't change. Chantel says, "Can you remember the Lions being 1-16 team? Now look at them. That's what leadership do to you, for you, sweetheart. That's what happens. That is what happens when you have a guy like Campbell who comes in. And remember, he came from you. How do we end up with Dennis Allen and not Campbell is beyond me. Oh, well, actually, we know who it is. We know who did it. But how do you do it? I mean, and then when you realize the mistake, you don't do nothing about it. I mean, his family, 7-game losing streak, he refuses to fire. Gil had to force him to. This is the general manager. This guy is somebody general manager. He had to be forced to fire the guy. I can't get around that, and that's why I have zero respect. I don't have any confidence in them, and they're a jerk. They're a jerk. He's a jerk and a joke. J&J. All right, yeah, that's accountability. Doesn't live in this house, in their house. That's for certain. Jack said, he says, what I do is cut them players and bite the bullet. But what the Saints do is restructure contracts, add years to spread converted bonus or guaranteed over more years. The money, it don't go away. No, you're right. I don't know how many times I showed the people that the Saints do that not only with the annual salary. Don't you know they do that with the signing bonus money too? They do that with the signing bonus money. I remember there was a time when people used to get all this signing bonus money up front. Like just the signing bonus is just you put your signature on the contract. You get some money just for signing the contract. They have that broken up. Like, damn. What? They have that going on though. And it shows everything. Like nowadays, you can see it all. Like maybe there was a time when you couldn't. But nowadays you can see it all. You can see the film. You can see it's more intricate and more difficult to get away with this kind of stuff. But you can see it all. You got websites like Over the Cap. You got websites like Sport Track. Those guys have a real, almost live account of how much money the Saints are tied up into from this year, next year, the year after that. The contracts of the players when they expired. Sport Track has the opt-out years written within the agreement, so you can literally go from player to player and find out who you want to keep versus who you won't keep. So what's their problem with all those resources? How they don't know how to do the same thing? Mickey Loomis' philosophy is to kick the can down the road. That's what he's been doing. That's all he knows how to do. The only way he figures to get out of cap hell is to allow the agreements to go away after this year in 2026, and then when 27 hits, you get so much money back that he anticipates that it will swallow up a great degree of the dead cap money, because the dead cap money and all other stuff, they'll still be on the books for this year and next year. And then 27, bam, $200 million or whatever it is. Probably be a little less than that, like 200 million, or might be underneath that. But at that time, you're going to need all that money to build that team again, because you ain't going to be hitting on nothing from a talent standpoint. You're going to be a total new team. Like I said, you're going to be on some New England Patriots and Carolina stuff, like 3 wins, 4 wins, that type of stuff, you know, with that kind of talent. Because when you have younger people, because you can't afford to get any veterans, established veterans to come in and take the team, you have to start with fresh new talent, which requires you to be patient. So it'll be a process. Marley says, Q, the Saints have a decision, may either cut Carr or pay him all the money. I don't think they cut Derek Carr. I think he'll be locked in. Max says the guy Mickey refuses to take accountability for the cap or draft and took zero accountability. Max, you heard the interview, man, and people be like, Q, damn, you be riding hard on them, bro. Listen, man, I gotta blast these guys, man. Fam, we gotta hammer these guys, because look what they're doing. They're a travesty. This is completely ridiculous that they even. I would prefer for him not to even do a press conference if he was going to get up here and sell this ridiculous stuff, man. That they just confirm that they have no plan and they take no responsibility for whatever happens. And I can't go for that, man. L-Dub says, in the way Mickey talking, he would have brought DA back next season, even if he lost 15 games. This guy is dumb. He's stupid. I'm sorry to be so brash and rough about it, but fam, enough of all this other stuff, fam. We gotta tell it like it is. This is ridiculous. Jackson, that's why a player goes away and we still pay him for like 3 to 5 years. You can literally put over the cap on and see that, bro. You can see players that have been gone. Hell, the Saints still have Andrews Pete on the books, if I'm not mistaken. And what he just left like last year, where Pete was on the team last year. But they have players still on the books from like 2-3 years ago that they still paying on, in dead cap money. You can see it all on there. Chantel says Benson Gale needs to be like Sheila Ford, the owner of the Detroit Lions. That's like she was brought up in a culture of the Fords and having the Detroit situation. So it was a little different because that's like something that was brung along, you know what I'm saying? Because they owned the Lions for a while, for a long time. So they had like a lineage. They had some familiarity with it. Gail Benson is like, she married into it. And toward the back end of his life, he tried to bring her along to these owner meetings. And he felt like he did enough to set her up with a staff that would help her, but he did not anticipate in all of his genius. And I said this before, in all of his genius, he being the late, great Tom Benson, didn't account for what Mickey Loomis and Dennis Lauschen would become after he closed his eyes. Because these men were not the same men that they were when he was alive. These guys was as quiet as church mice. And they did whatever he said, and they didn't play these games. This guy right here wasn't acting like that when Tom Benson wasn't alive. I mean, when he was alive, he wasn't cutting up, he wasn't doing this, talking like this and all this kind of stuff. This guy became a nuisance and a problem. So, he didn't anticipate that. But that's why living organizations need living representatives. And that's why the Saints, she should have created and had her own advisors to come in so that this didn't happen. She lacked vision. She's just using the team to make money, and it should be stopped. We have to stop it. The only people to stop it is us. It won't be the television people. The television people are paid for by them. They got them in their pocket. It's got to be you, if nobody. Max says he keeps bringing up injuries like it's not his fault. Exactly. Or for building a crap team. Yeah, it's not his fault. It's your fault, Max. Chantel is your fault, sweetheart. Desi is your fault. Molly Mall is your fault. You know why? Because all of y'all screwed up the cap. It's my fault too. GM Kev told me that. It's like, Q, was your fault. I was like, okay, damn. All right, it's my fault too. Okay. Shut up, Vikings getting their butts kicked. Yeah, we kind of figure. I kind of called the Vikings. I was like, Vikings ain't who you think they are, fam. But still a lot of good success there. Molly said, I don't like how Mickey went and hid when Gail made him fire Dennis. Yeah, he sure did, didn't he? He's a coward. Jack says Benson would slap Mickey silly if he talked to who that Nate. That's right. Tom Benson would have slapped the piss out of Mickey Loomis for him acting that like he was acting. He did not play that. He believed in customer service. He would have dressed down and berated Mickey Loomis for talking like that because he made his money based on his service. That's how he built this business with customer service, elite level customer service. He believed in that. So he wouldn't dare have some employee somewhere being flippant with people that's giving them tens of millions of dollars. How dare you? So yeah, I agree. Darwin says, Q, do you think if Rita got the team after Ben's dime? Oh, yes. Oh, hell yeah. Definitely a major difference, fam. Man, Rita was being groomed to be that person. And she knows the football side of it. She knew. So she would have been special. She wouldn't have been all this other stuff. She would have been way better than, because Gail, anybody could be better than Gail. Gail ain't doing nothing. She ain't doing nothing. She's not doing nothing. And she ain't learning either. You don't trust Mickey Loomis after you've seen what he did with Dennis Allen. That should have let you know right now the dude don't have a plan. You don't know what's going on. Anybody can do better than Gail. Yeah, he says, man, organizations like Green Bay, publicly owned, LOL. All right, Darwin says Mickey is talking like he putting D on Gail. I think Mickey married, man. I think Mickey ain't doing none of that. All right, yeah. KK, what's up, baby? Says Cap has a whole. L Dub says Saints website has put a video out of Derek Carr top plays of the season. There you go. There you go. That's one way to spin it. I bet you there's a bunch of highlights of checking the damn ball down, huh? Chantel says we got the right people in the building. That's right, Chantel. That's right. We got the right people in the building, man. I had to call him out. Negative noise. That's right, Slim. Y'all remember all the good ones? Jack says Rita seemed like she had more interest in the team's success. Gail seems to come to Gail is spending money. She do a terrific job with her charity and her endeavors like that. When I'm talking football, man, she's horrible. You horrible owner if you have Mickey Loomis and David Griffin running your teams and they running them into the ground and you don't even know what to do to stop them. What can I tell you, fam? It's just one thing. But anyway, listen, I'm gonna get ready to get out on that. Listen, I appreciate all. Yeah, Max. There you go. My bad. I'll build a better team next time. That's right. You make sure you do that, Max. All right. So anyway, with that being said, man, we're gonna cut out on that. Listen, I appreciate y'all, man. I couldn't even make it all the way through, man. With this, man, I think I got through like 75% of it, man. It's just. Oh, I don't know, man. I'm speechless after listening to this tripe, man. I don't know what to say about that, fam. I don't know. I had to put the clown music on. But anyway, man, I'm gonna get out on that. I done had my fill of BS tonight, man. I appreciate y'all for stopping by and listening to the stream. Y'all do me a service. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're not a subscriber, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. Check out our sponsors. In the description section below, Mint Mobile, T. Chentley, and Bet Online. They sponsor the platform. We appreciate them. As we hit 2025, man, bigger and better things are on the horizon. But listen, fam, yeah, we'll see what's going on, man, moving forward, man. But this wasn't a good look at all. He had zero information. It's just, I don't know what to say about this one, fam. He got me on this one. I don't know what to say about this one. But we'll see about it. I'll be back tomorrow on our Patreon, fam. Patreon, www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, or check out our links in the description section for merch and platform links and everything like that. And we'll holler at you on a Tuesday stream. Much love.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, brother like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Bet Online continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC. Head to Bet Online today and don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online. The game starts here.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who That too.